And on a day where we've seen so many massive finishes,
Bullseye to complete the card on the opening day. That could be a dart breaker for Jamie Kelly. Gillan moves 3-2 up.
Hair-raising stuff from Bradley Roose.
There you go, Henry, just giving you the green light for your own YouTube channel. And it's gone.
Second leg, Stephen Johnston.
Hello and welcome to the first finals night of Series 8 here at the Modus Super Series. Yeah, the last couple of weeks we've seen a champion crowned of the previous series in Andreas Harrison and the first ever winning woman in Rhian O'Sullivan. But now it's all about Series 8. Paul Nicholson has been here for the first week and it's been a week that's really provided, hasn't it?
A lot of different stories this week and a lot of strength from people who have been here before. And when we only had one debutant at the start of the week, we thought that it was going to be Revelino Dubois being up against it. It proved to be the case. But it's going to be a really interesting night to see who goes through to Champions Week at the first time of trying in this series.
Certainly is. Here are our Super 6 at the Super Series for the first finals night of the series. And Tom Sykes, a former series finalist himself, Justin Smith, Andy Hamilton, former world finalist Chris Gillan, and Bradley Roose, who was in that last Champions Week 2 weeks ago, and Stephen Johnston making it for the first time as well. Not that he knew it at the time.
He didn't know it at the time, but I think maybe he could be the story of the night. If he can have a deep run tonight, he could get a lot of confidence with his game, because the last 2 times he's been here, he's been heartbroken at not getting to Saturday. Now that he's here, we just don't know what kind of performance he can bring, but he was sitting in the chair next to us, and he said that he was going to bring the volume, the passion, and we don't know what we're going to get, but we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah, more about him later. The story of the week, though, now, starting with Group A, and Tom Sykes, well, he was pretty dominant, wasn't he, Paul, for most of that campaign, but in the end found himself kind of treading water.
Yeah, if you think about what he did on Monday, that was flawless. After that, it was very good, but then his first game on Wednesday, it just didn't seem as if he was ready to thrust forward and get it done with, 2 or 3 rounds to spare. But when Chris Gillan started chipping away at his lead come Wednesday lunchtime, we thought, what's going on here? Is Tom Sykes not going to make Saturday on the first 3 days? Turns out he did, but only just. And it was a shootout in the end, in the very final match that they played against each other.
Did he show enough across those 3 days to suggest to you that he is the man to beat tonight?
Yes. There's no point pussyfooting around it, because he's had the best average in a game this week. He's had 2 ton-plus averages. Nobody else has done that. He's had big finishes. He's had really hot spells as well, and he knows how to do it. That is something that when you come to Saturday nights, it's so key. If you've never done it before and you do it, bravo. But we will laud the people who have done it before, because they've been through it, they know how to think, and the situations won't be new to them.
That Group A was really significant for the other groups. Of course, we've seen Chris Gillan and Revelino Dubois drop into Group B. Particularly interested in Revelino, because it didn't work out for him in that group, as you can see. But he was kind of the beneficiary of a slump from Martin Adams, who we'll talk about later. So let's just start with him. Only one win in Group B. What did you make of his debut?
I think it was pretty good. I think because he's only been playing darts for 2 to 3 years, this has come at a really good time to find out where he stands against this level of talent. And I think he didn't disgrace himself. Making Group B in your first week is an achievement, let's put it that way, at the expense of a 3-time Lakeside champion as well. But when he came to Group B, the standard did go up, and I just think he was out of his depth a little bit, but that experience could be invaluable for his future.
Yeah, outclassed by the top 3, and we'll start with the man at the top of the table, Justin Smith, who really did show some class.
He did at the start, best average in his very first game on Thursday night. After that, it was a bit strange. Since then, we have found out that he hasn't been practicing a great deal because he's got stuff going on in Wales. However, he's still got the class to make it through in the top spot. And the guy's just got so much ability. Imagine what he would have done if he was fully practiced coming into this. Now he's got 2 days in the bank. Tonight, he's got to be a threat.
Andy Hamilton started the campaign with a couple of losses. You mentioned his experience would save him, and it did in the end. He really came to life.
Yeah, I think the averages tell you a very negative story from Andy, but the way he was able to claw his way through certain situations. The start of this game against Dubois, this was a statement, and this is a really good start to a campaign on the day. And the fact that he was able to get that kind of finish, it said to the group that I am Andy Hamilton. I am still here to play. I might be in my late 50s, but I've still got a lot to offer. And he's looked energised too. He's lost a bit of weight, and he hasn't at any point this week looked tired. That's ominous.
And the three that went through all kind of looked as good as each other, didn't they? Chris Gillan was the other player to make it. What did you make of him?
He's so consistent, isn't he? He reminds me a little bit of, say, an Andy Bolton or a Mike Warburton. He's the kind of player that just doesn't let you down. He's so dependable. He's the kind of person you want in a team. That's what I would say. Send him into bat for you. He'll get you a point. A bit like Ian Poulter in the European team in the Ryder Cup. But I just worry that if he doesn't find his best stuff at the right times tonight, a first weekly title might not be his.
Now, the most gripping group this week was Group C. It was really, really tight at the top of that table. In the end, look, it's a couple of points, but it was one leg that really swung it, wasn't it, for Martin Turner to miss out and Johnston to go through?
He will still be thinking, how on earth am I not here? Because he did so much good stuff on Thursday. It's not as if he played poorly on Friday. It's just the margins were so tight. And in one of his games, he was just starting to miss doubles, and that infected the rest of his day. And he lost his last couple of matches, hence Stevie Johnston just pipped him.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Martin Turner would have known the scenario. Stephen Johnston, the player on the stage, didn't actually know the scenario. He thought that he had to beat Bradley Roose 4-0. He did beat him 4-3, and as we can see, I mean, this was a remarkable situation where he turns around, shakes hands with Bradley, looks a little bit disappointed, and quickly the referee, I think, said, "See you tomorrow," and then we get this, we see the shock, and then the celebration.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, isn't it? But maybe that's the right approach. Just play each game as it comes, and if you're in contention, don't even ask anybody what the possibilities are. Sometimes you just need to play. And I think in the past, he's had maximum information and maximum pressure. What we haven't seen from Stevie J this week has been that real gumption and that volume and the passion on the stage. He's had it internally. We can see that because he's pretty easy to read. But tonight, he can let it all fly.
So let's talk about the group winner, Bradley Roose, because in Group A, he was rubbish. Sorry, Bradley, but he was, wasn't he? He was terrible. He was stropping around. He had a bit of a wrist injury. This is some turnaround from him to win that group.
Yeah, he wasn't good, and he's admitted that he wasn't good. But after speaking to him on Friday morning, there was a different look about him. The wrist injury is obviously better now, and he said on Friday morning, before he hit that 170 against Jack Mail, it feels better now than it has all week. And his performance level on Friday was a good 7 to 8 points better than all of Group A. That tells you everything you need to know.
We saw that 170 there. It's been a remarkable week for big finish as well. 50 ton-topping checkouts this week, and everybody here has hit one. Yeah,
we've got a total for every player here tonight. And it's not just about them as well, because Martin Adams had a stack as well. Revelino's 137, possibly the best six-start conversion of the week, because he had a 177 before that 137 on two double tops. 164s, we've had 3 of them. And the only checkout we haven't had, 160 plus, is the 160, which is the easiest of the lot.
Martin Adams, we just saw there, he set 8 of those ton-topping checkouts. Sad not to see him tonight, but he certainly left his mark.
He did. I think his smile is so infectious around this place whenever he's here. And I'd like to think that maybe he could get a couple of days later in the series as a second chance. But he celebrated his 60th birthday this week. It was nice for him to be here so we could celebrate that with him. But unfortunately not here on Saturday night, and I'm sure the fans will be disappointed too. Yeah,
Revelino Dubois and Michael Burgoyne actually are here in the audience this evening, but the players that will be on the stage are these players, and these are what groups they're going to be in. So Tom Sykes, Andy Hamilton and Stephen Johnston will contest Group 1. Group 2 will feature Justin Smith, Bradley Roose and Chris Gillan. Where would you rather be, Paul?
Well, if I'm Tom Sykes, I like his position. I like him playing the first game. And I do fancy him to go through. I do sneakily suspect that the game between Hamilton and Johnston will be the biggest qualifying game in that group.
Well, that could have some noise, couldn't it, as well?
It could do. And I think it should as well, because let's face it, there's money on the line tonight. There's grandeur, there's bragging rights, and a place in Champions Week in a few months' time. But I really do think that anybody could get through Group 2. You tell me 2 of those 3, and I wouldn't be surprised any way you tell me.
Well, let's see what the bookies think of it then this evening. And they do go with Tom Sykes as a favourite, as you sort of alluded to earlier on. They've gone Chris Gillan second favourite, then Justin Smith. Bradley Roose is the outsider, but he's been in that position before and he's won before. And Andy Hamilton at 13-2.
I feel like I'm in the same position I was in on Monday morning when I said Bradley Roose at 12-1 looked stupid. Now, 8-1 for someone who has finally found some form on Friday and someone who has won in the previous series, that looks a bit wrong. But we're going to caveat that because we have seen some crud from him this week. Hamilton, though, is the kind of person who dearly wants this weekly title. He hasn't got one yet, but he has been trending in the right direction. The only thing that comes with Andy is that every now and again there's an 80 or maybe a 75 average in there. If that happens tonight, he will lose the match. It's that simple. But Justin Smith could be the X factor out there. If Tom Sykes doesn't win, Justin Smith could pounce.
The first game tonight features the favourite Tom Sykes and one of the outsiders in Stephen Johnson. Now, the first game last week at Women's, it was Bo Greaves 4, Rhiannon O'Sullivan 0. And we know what happened from there. So are the first matches as important as sometimes we make out they are?
I think they are if you win 4-0, because then in your second qualifying game, you only need one leg to get through. It takes all the pressure away. Well, not all of it, but most of it. But how many times have we seen repeat fixtures later in the night from earlier? It happens a lot, and it's part of the whimsy of this place. I quite like it.
Sticking with Sykes for the win?
Yeah, I can't go away from Sykes. That 109 average and the 100 average that he also got in Group A, he's going to be fresh. He'll be well practiced as well because he's not lazy. He does do the work on the days off, and I do think he might get the title tonight. And I'm often wrong, but tonight I'm hoping I'm not.
Cheers. So Paul selects Sykes to succeed, and Henry Deacon was talking to him and his opponent, Stephen Johnson, before tonight got underway.
Stephen, great to see you here on a Saturday at the Super Series, into that finals night for the first time. Was it a little bit of relief more than anything once you found out you were through?
Oh, it was relief. I tried not to look at the table and that in the players' room, because you need to learn by your mistakes. For the last times I've been doing, and on top of the table, when you're looking at it and you're asking, you're like, just go up and play darts, take every game one at a time, and that's it. Simple.
It was a dramatic afternoon yesterday. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Oh, it was good, and I enjoyed it, and I actually thought I had to win 4-0 against Brad in the last game, but obviously it wasn't that because Michael had beat Martin, so but I'll take it. I'm looking forward to tonight.
As I say, into tonight, different dynamic in front of a crowd, but the way you play the game, the way you really give everything to every shot, to every moment, is that actually going to suit you, do you think?
Oh, definitely. It'll boost the adrenaline, and when you hit a 1080 and you've got all the folks shouting or hit a big checkout, that's what we'll play the game for. I'll get a good buzz today, and if I win, I win. If I lose, but I'll get 100%.
Is it an air of free hit and just enjoy yourself?
It's a free smash, aye.
Well, Stephen, we look forward to watching you play. Good luck tonight.
Thanks very much. Cheers, Henry.
Tom, good Group A for yourself, getting over the line. Maybe a little bit harder work than you may want it to be. What would be your overall assessment of those 3 days?
Yeah, I made hard work of it a bit, but on the last day. But the first couple of days, I thought I played pretty solid. My doubles let me down a little bit in some games, but I managed to get over the line in the end, and that's all that matters.
So has the 2 days off been a case of just working on a couple of key areas?
Yeah, I've had a couple of hours practice this last couple of days, and just working on everything that went wrong really in the first 3 days, and hopefully I'll put it right tonight.
Into tonight, into Saturday, where you've got a very good record. You've either won something here, whether it be a belt all week, or you've got to a final, whether it be a Champions League or qualification week. What is it about the Saturdays that just turn you on? Is it the fact it's the business end?
Possibly that, and the fact that there's a crowd in here, which I always like playing in front of a crowd, which helps me quite a bit, to be fair. And hopefully we can do the same again and go one better this week.
Looking around social media this afternoon, looks like you've brought a fair few down from Yorkshire.
Yeah, there's a couple here. My manager's here, and my missus and my mum, as well as my dad, obviously. And yeah, it should be a good night.
This is a real family thing, isn't it? Darts for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody loves it down here. Everybody, well, to be fair, they all follow me wherever I go, so it's always been the same, and it'll continue that way.
So it'd be a special moment if you were able to lift that trophy again in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here to win it. I'm not here to just make the numbers look like I always say, but we'll see what happens.
We look forward to watching you play. Tom, good luck.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Oh, what's
And the
that?
match.
He certainly is ready. Tom Sykes, finalist in an entire series just a couple of series ago, beginning his finals night campaign in Series 8 for return to Champions Week. He's ready. The crowd are ready. I hope you're ready at home as well. The opponent for Sykes in the opening match, the shocked Scotsman Stephen Johnson, who couldn't believe he was through, didn't know he was through when he hit the winning double on Friday. Tom Sykes got the job done nice and early on Wednesday, winning Group A early this week. The Castleford Tiger looking to roar in his opener, but the roars are more likely to come from the Falkirk flinger. Stephen Johnson is up against him in the opener. Owen Binks, your referee for the evening, and your commentary team are Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Chris. A very good evening, everybody. 14 days ago, Andreas Harrison lifted the trophy aloft. He won £25,000 for winning Super Series 7.
Game on.
And now here we go again. The process begins once more. Only 12 can make it through to the big occasion, the big money moment here at the Super Series. And tonight we will crown the first of those 12. Tom Sykes has made it through to the big money match before. He did so in Series 6.
140.
Stephen Johnson thought he kicked off a max, as did the entirety of the crowd. He almost
60.
had a maximum of his first visit here in front of a crowd at the live lounge. And a crowd which we were actually having a chat with them before play got underway,
60.
Paul, in very good voice tonight.
They're expectant, that's for sure. There are people out there who really want success
140.
for this guy and the man in white, who is making his debut on a Saturday night. And funnily enough, he is the only person here tonight
100.
on the hockey who has never been here before. He is up against it. But wasn't it strange to see that he's not the outsider with the odds compilers? That's Bradley Roose.
Yeah, he's the 8-1 outside fancy with the
140.
bookies tonight.
Tommy
Stephen
White,
Johnson at the halfway point in the betting, but this man was the favourite. 15-8 before dart was thrown. And if he pinned a 15 dart holder throw, he would have seen reasons as to why. Johnson has a break opportunity here. Too good. And so he's going to have to spurn a dart. 3 for double 4 will be the MO to take out leg 1.
53.
So both players have had a dart
Tommy
to
required 12.
win this opening leg of the night.
Game shown the
Sykes
first leg.
starts well.
Tom Sykes.
After dodging a bullet on double 4, the favourite for the title tonight,
Second leg,
the
it's
man in
Stevens
blue and
to throw
black,
first. Game on.
who has done it before, just like Justin Smith and Bradley Roose. Half of the field have won a weekly title,
100.
and he is the favourite for good reason, because of past behaviours and because of what he's done this week. He's had the best
97.
game, averaged almost 110 in a match in Group A. He's got the best running average of the week. He's got one of the
83.
best doubles percentages from his 15 games that he played from Monday to Wednesday. Need I go on? He is turned
100.
from someone who came here around a year ago and people said, who's Tom Sykes? And the statement is
41.
now, oh, it's Tom Sykes.
You can make an argument that even in a finals night field that features a former world finalist in Andy Hamilton, Tom Sykes
64.
goes into it with the name that harbours the most clamour because of what he has achieved here over the last 6 months or so. He actually kick-started it by
47.
picking up a belt title, didn't he, back in September. He then made it through to a finals night. Second time of asking. He knocked Connor Scott. It was on a challenge tour today and in convincing style
140.
out of the group contention. He was then the 5-1 outsider in that Week 10 final in Series 6. He went on to win that night, beating the likes of
100.
Kurt
Tommy
Parry,
Roquette,
Darren
100.
Webster, Brian Roman and James Wilson in the process. And he hasn't looked back since. And he's looking to move into a 2-0 lead by pinning the tops. It's not going to
80.
go.
Stephen require
He's going to leave himself on a
130.
double. Johnson's going to have to take out the 130. Otherwise, it could be broken. Bullseye. Almost.
105. Tommy required 20.
A hush over North End in Portsmouth.
Game
As Sykes
shot
gets the
second
break.
leg. Tom Sykes.
Very steady. 2:17 darters to start.
Third leg, it's
And if you
Tom
simplify
to throw
tonight
first.
into what they
Game on.
possibly want at the start, and I'm going to talk about Sykes again, if he wins this leg and the next, and his next leg after that, he's through to the semi-finals. It's that simple.
59.
A lot easier on paper than it is on the board.
We speak about playing to type, and we speak about playing to type a lot. Prior to that leg beginning, Tom
100.
Sykes was averaging around about 88 and change. His weekly average, 87.93. His checkout ratio, around
58.
about 35%. And his checkout ratio here, 33%. He is playing to that level, which was good enough to see him win Group A.
60.
As to whether it's good enough to win tonight, you'll have to stay with us to find out. And we will know at around about 11:20 tonight as we get our first maximum of the evening from Tom Sykes, who isn't shy of a maximum. That's his 22nd of the week. His ratio of hitting them is very healthy. More than one a match.
It may not be the biggest crowd we've ever seen here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, but my goodness, is it loud and vocal. And I think that may just set the tone for what could be a thrilling night ahead.
This is the biggest finish we haven't had this week. But the amount of people who have had an attempt at it,
40.
it's getting a little bit silly. Now, there's one thing that keeps following Mr. Sykes around.
100.
It's this shot.
120.
It's a bit of a calling card. But he's not going to go 2 bulls. He's going to go for tops.
Game shot at third
He is
leg.
good.
Tom Sykes.
And he's one leg away from bageling Stevie Johnston on his Saturday debut.
Fourth leg, it's Stephen to throw first. Game on.
You're right, Henry. This crowd is loud. And let's face it, the weather's beautiful on the south coast. It's been a lovely day so far. And why wouldn't you be in a good mood?
60.
Well, if Tom Sykes wins this game by 4-0, the cry will be, Stevie J, where did it all go wrong?
125.
Because he's going to have to flip his fortunes around in the next match to basically hope that the best case scenario is a 9-dart shootout. And
95.
Tom Sykes, the last time he was here on a Saturday night, he wasn't involved in the 9-dart shootout, but there was a 9-dart
40.
shootout that evening.
I said earlier on, and I also said it last night, that the game
100.
with Johnston and Hamilton will be the biggest one in qualifying through this group. Because I really did see Sykes
137.
qualifying comfortably. It may be the case. But I guarantee you this,
100.
if Sykes wins 4-0, it's actually Johnston that becomes the biggest Sykes fan. Because he'll want him to drub Hamilton. But then Stevie J's got to beat Hamilton first before that's even a part of tonight. Sykes is now on double 16 to win this match. And he's setting his stall out with no hesitation.
Justifying why he's the favourite. A thumping 4-0 win for Tom Sykes. Kickstarts the evening's action. Done in the space of 7.5 minutes. He gets the better of Stephen Johnston to 0. And the fans, his family, his manager in the crowd, very pleased with the progress he's made. You'd sense it should be pretty much enough to progress him through to the semi-finals. That's the tale of the tape. 92.49 the average, 4 from 8 on the doubles, a 120 in there as well. Stephen Johnson didn't play bad, but Tom Sykes just had an extra gear. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch the bearded dragon, Justin Smith, go toe-to-toe with Chris Gillan.
Welcome back to finals night on week 1 of Series 8 here at the Modus Super Series, where Tom Sykes has really lived up to his billing as a favourite. A 4-0 win in his opening match against Stephen Johnson. He's looking like he's pretty comfortably through. That we will find out in a couple of games' time. But before that, we're going to move on to Group 2, where Chris Gillan is getting ready to play Justin Smith. After the Englishman beat the Scotsman, it's now time for the Welshman against the Northern Irishman, and Henry Deacon spoke to both a little earlier.
Well, Chris, it's been a really good week for yourself. Responded well from that Group A setback in Group B over the last couple of nights. What would be your overall assessment of things?
Well, the preparation for this week hasn't been fantastic, as it's been documented on the show. But just this week to me was like a free week just to come and have fun. There's not much expectation, so to get tonight is unreal, because I didn't expect to get tonight, to be honest with you.
Did you find yourself settling into the week quicker then than perhaps you would have expected?
Yes, I didn't expect to play as well as I did in day 1, so it showed that I could play to a certain level. Day 2, I was a bit disappointed with how I played then, but I was more than happy with the way I played in day 3 to even have a chance within the group by come to the last match.
Would it be fair to say as the week's gone along, we've seen you play at a more consistent level?
Yeah, that's the same. That's a lack of practice, and this week's been fantastic practice. So on each night, it just seems to be coming back a little bit more and more consistency, with a bit more confidence every game.
Going into tonight then, you said at the beginning of the week this was a little bit of a free hit for yourself. So do you try and keep that mentality this evening?
Oh yes, the last time I was here, we all know what happened last time. It took me a long time to get over that of what happened. But and I was near, at one stage I was thinking about actually just giving it up. I was, because I was devastated. But this time round, there's no expectations. What happens tonight happens tonight. And if I go out in the group, I go out in the group. If I win it, I win it. Either way, I'll go home happy.
Could tonight be a full circle moment then for yourself?
Who knows? It's a strange little game, this game. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and we look forward to watch you play. Chris, good luck.
Thank you very much, Henry.
Justin, solid showing for yourself over the last couple of days. Did that feel like the case from your perspective?
Yes and no. Considering I haven't been practicing a lot at all, I've got a baby on the way and everything, I'm moving house, so I haven't had the time to put any hours in, so I'm just glad to get through, really, considering the lack of practice I've had.
So to a certain extent, did you kind of not know what to expect from this week?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I had 3 practice sessions, so I didn't know what to expect. We're coming into, Thursday, and then sort of Friday I knew that I was playing okay-ish, but yeah, I'm just glad to get through.
And into tonight, you know the Saturday night fold quite well. You've won a week in the past. You've got through to semi-finals previously. So even though you've not played much, can actually the muscle memory of playing in events, playing in nights like this, just re-jog you very quickly?
Yeah, well, I always say you've either got it or you haven't. So I think a lot of it is muscle memory. So yeah, so hopefully I can just take it all into tonight now, what I've done in the last couple of years, winning a challenge or whatever. So hopefully I can just bring it into tonight's finals.
Do external factors that also give you, though, that extra little bit of motivation, that extra bit of determination?
Yeah. Of course it would. I'm just looking forward to it. The lack of playing over the last few months. It's nice to get back on the stage.
We'll look forward to watching you play. Justin, good luck.
Cheers, boy. Thank you.
And it goes double 18 for double top. May take it out. He may find the ball. He does find the ball. He does pin the ball. It's back-to-back bullseye.
Well, they're certainly ready. There's been a little rendition of Stand Up If You Love the Darts in the arena in the little break there. Of course, now all sitting ready to give best of order to the players, as is always the case here at the Modus Super Series. And it's 2 players who I found the interviews very, very interesting. Both players really playing down their chances, saying no expectation, including the 26-year-old Welshman, a winner on the Challenge Tour, Justin Smith, the bearded dragon, taking on Chris Gillan of Northern Ireland. Yeah, and he's had that elbow injury, broken elbow that he's had to come back from. You can see why both players have been playing down their chances, but they've played quite well this week. And with that sort of lack of focus on winning and just relaxing and playing darts, maybe we are going to see the best of them here on this finals night. Let's find out in the company of Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Chris. First things first, I've had to make sure Paul Nicholson's sat down now. because he has been standing up because he loves the darts. And why wouldn't you love a night like tonight? Tom Sykes has already set the standard alight, a 4-0 win against Stephen Johnston with a 92.5 average. And now we see two players who played superbly well in Group B go toe-to-toe. Justin Smith, who is back at the Super Series,
55.
up against Chris Gillan, who's had a little bit of a layoff, played the full 5 days, and now is into night 6 worth of action. It should be an intriguing contest.
Should be indeed. They played against each other the last couple of nights. Justin Smith won them both. I wonder if that's going to be a factor.
95.
And he won them 4-1 and 4-2. Fairly comfortably against someone who is very difficult to dispose of.
140.
Now, Smith has the capabilities of doing what Sykes did in the opening match of the night. Make no mistake about that. But Chris, Mr. Dependable,
95.
it's just a question of how high his output is. Will it be enough to take care of this 2-game format in the groups?
140.
Well, we spoke yesterday about Justin Smith being the type of player that gets going in spells, and sometimes in the finals night, that may just be all you need, is those spells at the right times. And he's got out the gate very
100,
quickly,
Justin, you
on
require
throw,
61.
leaving himself a 2-darter after 12. And a bit like Stephen Johnson in the last game, hits the ball zone 61, but recovers to hit the double 4 to take the opening leg in 15 darts. A tidy start for the Welshman.
Second leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
If I may be simplistic, yes, that'll do. A few more legs like that, and you do fancy he's going to make his way through to the semi-finals.
100.
If you are joining us for the very first time tonight, thank you for your company. We don't take that for granted. We know that there are plenty of options for things to do and things to watch. But if you are a Super Series regular as well, thanks for joining us once again. It's a fabulous night here in Portsmouth as we look to book the first invitation to Champions Night,
100.
which will be at the end of August. And what a night that's going to be. As you can see, a packed live lounge here tonight.
140.
And if you want to be part of this, especially on Champions Night, be quick to get your tickets because they will not be there very long.
Yep, www.dartshot.tv, the place to be to get your tickets to join pilgrims just like them on a Saturday evening at the live lounge in Portsmouth. And you can see some great darts, and they're almost able to hold a 180 placard aloft. That's the QR code that you need if you want to be here on a Saturday evening. Just scan that. It'll take you over to the landing page for your tickets for every single Saturday evening in Series 8, including Champions Night, which is on the 31st of August. Quite the ending, quite the crescendo to the summer. This has been quite the start for Justin Smith. He's going to stay there with his opponent back on 204, and he is on tops after 12. This is superb.
Notice how he didn't hesitate after that single one, because he knew that his approach effort was trying to leave tops
100.
or a double.
Justin, you require 40.
It worked out perfectly in the end. Just like that. That's an improvement from leg 1 to leg 2. And now we're starting to see the A-grade Justin Smith like we did in the first game on Thursday.
28 darts to dispose of the first 2 legs for Justin Smith. And he's continuing.
First person in the building tonight into the players' room.
140.
That's an interesting statement from Justin. Stats this week. Quite frankly, these two aren't that far apart.
41.
Justin Smith, 88.56 for the week. Gillan, 86.89.
81.
1.5 points, pretty much. That's nothing. Their best games, very similar, high 90s. Doubles percentages, 35 and 36%. There's nothing between them for the week. But there is in this game.
140.
Even when Gillan gets that maximum, the 184th of the week, Smith is still 140 ahead now.
Gillan is just not getting any breaks right now. He needs to get a break in this particular leg, but Smith's going to have 6 from the 140 to make it 3-0. And suddenly we could be in a position where we've got two players that have just set their stall out, and we're going to see how the rest of the pack responds, because Justin Smith and Tom Sykes won't play until the final games of their respective groups, and so it will mean in games 3 and 4, Johnston, Hamilton, Gillan and Roose, if the passenger players to continue in this particular match, are trying to jostle for position possibly.
85. Justin, you require 96.
For 3-0. In his double 8.
Game shot.
So good.
Justin Smith.
This is obliterating from the bearded dragon. And Gilly, this week, who's been so dependable, is being blitzed. We did warn everybody that this was possible. He's got it in the locker. Give him the time. Give him the prep.
60.
He is one of the best players outside of the tour card system, but he never gets the headlines. But he did once. When he won a weekly title here, beating Martin Adams in a final. Don't tell me that didn't get headlines.
But Justin's one of those players that I think likes playing under the radar. He doesn't mind if
26.
people are talking about others. He just gets up and does his own job, and he's doing it to a great degree here.
He might like playing under the radar, but I'm not going to let him.
60.
I described his methodology of playing this game as smash mouth on Thursday. I stand by it. Look at the board, see a target,
100.
wallop. That is his approach. Look at this throw. Straight up, and he throws it viciously.
100.
It's almost as if the darts do not have a choice as to where they go. Whereas Gilly is very much a floater. Look at that graceful throw. Technique-wise,
83.
it's glorious. Very different approach to this man right here, who is gradually inching towards that 4-0 victory. If he gets it, he will need one leg in his next match against Bradley Roose to guarantee his spot in the semi-finals.
It'd mean the worst case scenario is a 9-dart shootout.
42. Justin, you require 100.
It's been a 9 immaculate performance, 3 from 3 on the doubles, 5 ton pluses, 6 140 pluses. This is actually the worst leg of the match for him because everything else has been won in 5 visits.
Justin,
That might be the last dart he throws in this match. And he's not had a dart at a double. Whereas Justin
72.
will possibly need another visit
130.
to get it done by 4-0. Can he be denied? Not this time.
Well, that's the first time Chris Gillan has had a
80.
look in at anything.
Justin, you
So now
require
Justin Smith
4.
looking to slam the door shut. Double 2 for the win. Just steps back for a second. And then makes no mistake. It's been an immaculate performance from Justin Smith. A 4-0 victory against Chris Gillan. The average in the end, 96.97. But it was over the ton mark for the most part. 4 from 6 on the doubles as well. A real good display out the bat for the bearded dragon, who breathes fire into the night. A 4-0 success against Chris Gillan, done in the space of 8.5 minutes. Both him and Tom Sykes have set their stall out, and over the next couple of matches, we're going to see how the rest of the field responds. We kickstart with Stephen Johnston up against Andy Hamilton as the quickfire contest continues.
Welcome back. Well, what a start. It's gone so fast, Paul, that we had to shoehorn a little conversation with you in here because Tom Sykes and Justin Smith have just been incredible.
Yeah, they have. I think Tom Sykes he's relished this first game, hasn't he? He looked so confident and so ready and very focused as well. Tricky first opponent, but he kept Stevie J quiet, and that's how you beat him. You keep him on the back foot. And same goes for Justin Smith. He was very, very good at the start. He just tailed off a tiny bit at the end, but I think he caught his opponent just on the back foot a little bit himself. And maybe he wasn't expecting that kind of smash-mouth start, but he definitely got one, did the fire-breathing dragon.
So yeah, those two players who've lost out now are going to have to draw some inspiration from Rhiannon O'Sullivan last week, who was whitewashed in her first game, but ended up winning it. And if we take a look at the results and the order of play for tonight, do you see a way back for either or both of those players?
There's always a way. It's intricate. I know it's a truncated format. There's only 2 games per group, but there are intricacies in there about who you beat and when. So the 2 guys that we've just seen win, they've got to wait now to play in games 5 and 6. So a lot can happen before they come back. And let's not forget that the dreaded 9-dart shootout is still a possibility if things can be turned around. So, yeah, there are ways back, but it will be difficult.
Yeah, they could be through by the time they play the next game, or they could still have that hanging over them. Stephen Johnson's about to take on Andy Hamilton. It doesn't get any easy for the Scotsman, does it?
Not really, but then Saturday nights are not supposed to be easy. And I'm a somewhat cynical guy when it comes to this time of year because there's no excuse for anybody not to be sharp on a Saturday night because you've either played for 2 days or 5 in the middle of the year where you've had plenty of time to prepare for it. It's not as if these guys get invited 2 weeks ago. They get plenty of time to prepare for it. You know, you got fighters going into big fights at this time of the year. They train for 6 to 8 weeks beforehand. They know what they're getting themselves into. As far as these players are concerned, it's no different. So when you go up there, your first Saturday night for your Stevie J, or your first Saturday night game in a while if you're Chris Gillan, it's not as if this is a surprise. People tend to play better on a Saturday night, especially if they've done it before.
Right, thanks for that. If it carries on like this, I'll see you again in about 10 minutes' time. After we saw Smith and Sykes nail it, let's hear from the Hammer.
Andy, really good night for yourself yesterday evening. Sealed your place through to this evening's final. Actually, after those first couple of games on Thursday, things looked really good for yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. I just buckled down last night, and I knew what to do in front of me. I knew if I'd won 2 or 3 games, I was going to qualify for the next day. So I just did what I can, buckled down, did the best I can, and played some good stuff at times.
Well, you mentioned to me yesterday that you were talking about your battling qualities, how important that could be yesterday evening. Straight out the bat against Avelino Dubois, how important were those 2 ton-plus finishes in that game against him?
I think that first one, the 154, I think the turning point of the game for me, and all after the 110, gave me another leg head start. So I think for me, experience did help that. And obviously in the flexion last night, we're talking to Revy and just telling him some truths about what can be learned in this game. And obviously we've got a bit of experience between us to give him a bit of the insight to the game as well.
Is that a nice side for you? Because obviously at your stage of your career, is it nice to actually help some of the younger players out as they start their journey in the sport?
Yeah, most definitely. If we can give them something what we've learned across the years, been playing darts, I shall give something back to them. At least they can look forward to it or see what's going to happen to them in their futures.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about tonight. It's been a very good start to 2024 for yourself. We've seen you make a semi-final here this year, previously in the previous series. So how much you'd like to kick on again here at the Live Lounge?
Most definitely. I've been here a few times. I think I'm not saying it's my time to, but I think I've been here. I've done the hard work, and it'd be nice to win tonight, and I'll be giving it my all. So let's just wait and see.
Well, we look forward to watching you in action. Andy, good luck.
Cheers, Andy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Andy Hamilton, he's got plenty of fans in the audience this evening. Just listen out for their cheers. Listen out for his roars as well. It could be a battle of the bellows here as well against Stephen Johnson, the Scotsman, of course. Well, he's in peril. His second chance is his last chance on a Saturday. It's been such an effort to get here after the heartbreak last time he visited the Super Series of missing out only by his fingernails in 2 different groups and then sneaking through in the final match, the final leg of the day yesterday. Johnson made it. He takes on Andy Hamilton in his second game, having lost his first 4-0. And that means that if the Scotsman fails to win this one, then he will be starting the long trip home to Falkirk. If Andy Hamilton beats him, then he will qualify and take Tom Sykes with him. And the former World Championship finalist has plenty of experience in his armour. Guiding you through the action, then once again, it's back to Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Very much, Chris, and the man from Falkirk is going to have to go full circle in the third game of the evening session. A 4-0 defeat to Tom Sykes means that he needs to win and then probably hope for a favour for Tom in the next game, the final game of Group 1. Whereas for Andy Hamilton, the man from the Potteries could be trotting through to the semi-finals if he can get the better of Stephen Johnson, and he would take the man from Castleford, Tom Sykes, with him. It's must-win territory for the tenacious Scot. But one thing we do know is he's a granite player that will give absolutely everything. He will try his heart out no matter what.
Of that there is no doubt. But this situation should not be overcomplicated. Just because it's his first Saturday, he should still know the complexities of these two very small groups of 3 players each. Just go up there and win the match. That's the advice I would give him just before he goes up the 3 or 4 steps to the stage. If you go up there with a mindset of, I've got to win 4-1 or 4-0 or 4-2, you're going to be thinking about it all wrong. You've got the darts in this game. Use them. Get a start, impose yourself, and make it difficult for your opponent to beat you. And then you go back to the practice room and you think to yourself, they're on. Have I done enough? If you have, you play again. If you haven't, you move on.
96. Stephen, you require 161.
Well, Johnson's got off to the quickest start of the 2, leaving a finish first with the darts in leg 1. I suppose that's the one saving grace that Stephen does have in the contest, is the fact that he's going to throw first in this game. If he was given an option as to which game would you prefer the throw against, well, if you thought Tom Sykes was the game where you could come and start, then you'd maybe want the insurance policy of throwing first against Andy.
140. Stephen, you require 71.
Got to keep things efficient and tidy. Double top.
31.
He might lose his throw immediately. 70. How many times has Hamilton done this to people over the course of his quarter-century career? Double 16. Hammer time. And there is the roar for the first time in the last 3 nights. He's saved it for now. It's all about timing this game. And now Stevie J is up against it even more.
Well, when I spoke to Andy earlier on this evening, I just got that real sense that he's got the real bit between his teeth that he really fancies the job tonight. He's in a real good place. He's playing some real good stuff. And he just looks like a player that's got all the ingredients just to put it together over a one-night spurt and progress his way through to a Champions Week.
This whole series is a marathon, but Saturday nights are about sprinting. It's not necessarily a 100-metre race. I'd put it in the same sort of bracket as a 400-metre race, because that's what they do with 400 metres. They split it into 4 different stages. The first bend, the back straight, the final bend, and then the home straight. The home straight is the final tonight.
Well, Hamilton was 13-2, 5th out of 6th in terms of the players with the bookmakers. Has made it through to a final once before. Missed 5 match darts to get the better of John Worsley in a week 1 in Series 3. Them not having a good time. And why not have a good time when you're watching world-class darts like this? Hamilton averaging 112 on the cusp of a 2-0 lead if he could take out the 105, and he's got time on his side.
If people keep playing like this against Stevie J, he's going to start taking it personally.
38.
That may be the worst dart he's thrown so far tonight, but it's not going to hurt him too much. Or will it? Maybe this 67 could have been a little smaller. It could have been 48, or indeed double 4. It's up to him to use one of 2 darts at double that he's got. He doesn't need the second one.
Andy Hamilton.
Somebody
Ladies and
get
gentlemen,
Stevie
we make
J
sure
a
all
parachute,
phones are on silent, please. All phones on
because the way
silent.
things have gone
It's
tonight,
Stephen to throw first.
he's been
Game on.
falling for about 20 minutes. Just like Loki in one of those Thor movies.
Well, Andy Hamilton has got himself to the halfway point of this contest in the space of 29 darts, averaging 103.66 at this present moment in time. And what this performance so far has done is sent Tom Sykes through to the semi-finals. So the Castleford Tiger will have his spot in the last 4.
Talk about an efficient job.
94.
Played 4 legs through. See you in the semis with a game to spare.
Tom Sykes was through at 20 past 8. Some people probably ain't made it through the door yet because they turned up late.
100.
I think Andy's enjoying this so far tonight. And I have a sneaky feeling because the crowd have brought the
100.
noise. That might just be the pilot light to the fire he needs to find to be the best version of himself. You've seen him do it year after year after year. And he does play his best darts
95.
when he's higher up and when he can look down on the fans. Not in a bad way, but gathering them in to the atmosphere.
However, what a response this is from Stephen Johnston in leg 3, because it could have been so easy for him to have just fallen back into his shell after the onslaught that's been hit against him by both Andy Hamilton and Tom Sykes this evening. But he's left himself an 84 after 12. And for once
41.
tonight, for once
Stephen
this
Maguire,
evening,
84.
he is going to get a little bit of breathing space. He's actually going to have a bona fide opportunity at the bullseye.
59. And he require 142.
Andy's biggest finish is 154 this week, which was 2 trebles to a double. The same treble, but he's not going to do that here. And I'm sure if he'd found the treble 20, he would have stayed there for double 11.
94. Stephen required 25.
Stephen must mop this up.
Game shot on the
And he
third.
does.
Stephen
Very
Johnson.
well. His first double hit of the night. And it may just be the key to him finding a way back
Well,
into
there
this
it's Andy
second
to throw
qualifying
first.
match
Game on.
in group number 1.
And you began to get the sense as well as the legs were reeling away against him. First and foremost, he was probably thinking, just get the elusive 1 on the board and then work from there. Well, he's done exactly that, but it looks like Hamilton's going to tie him up in knots again at the beginning of leg 4.
Andy's never really been noted as a massive 180 hitter, but I think he's gone up a notch this week.
97.
12 180s in Group B. That's 1.5 180s per match. That's very good. If you can recreate that tonight and throw in a few good 140s
140.
and 120 plus scores, he may cause problems for Johnston, for Sykes, and maybe the other people
60.
as well.
Well, if the truth be told, Stephen Johnson is very much on the ropes now, and he knows that he's being boxed amidst the canvas. What about the hammer now? Putting in the hammer blow.
91.
I wouldn't put Andy Hamilton in the boxing ring. Do you know where I can visualise him being really useful if it wasn't darts?
180.
In a no-holds-barred fight.
170.
Very well done to Stevie J. He's got his first maximum on a Saturday night, but hold the phone. Hold the phone. It doesn't go ring, but this place will erupt if this one is found.
But the treble 18 isn't found for Johnson. What a play this has been. But it looks like it's going to be Hamilton. Well, he's going to get the first opportunity at a double on the back of this exchange. An exchange in which, if he's successful in, will put him 3-1 to the good. It'd leave Johnson behind the 8 ball. And the hammer's 3-1 up. And Johnson has got it all to do here. He's not just got a mountain to climb.
Fifth leg, it's Stephen to throw
He's got an Everest to climb.
And how do you climb Everest? One step at a time.
26.
But we cannot animate more just how good this performance is, because Andy Hamilton this week has played steady stuff, dependable stuff over the last couple of nights.
97.
This is another level. He has not been anywhere close to 100 average in a completed game at all here this week.
41.
I said earlier to you on the stage, Henry, when people can feed off the crowd and they get that extra adrenaline, superhuman things are possible. He's still a world-class player. The numbers prove it in this match.
100.
Well, the proof's in the pudding so far tonight. This week's been an okay week, but nobody's really done something that's made us really see them stand out. But so far this evening, everybody's put something in. And you have to feel a bit of sympathy for Stephen Johnson. Average 86 against Tom Sykes. It was nowhere near good enough. He's averaging 90.69 in this particular contest, and his opponent's throwing a near 103 at him.
I hate to disagree with you, Henry, but Saturday is a sympathy-free zone. If you expect sympathy when you come to Saturday night in Portsmouth, you've come to the wrong place.
23.
People have come here,
And he
they have not lasted long, but there are others who make Saturday night their home. Andy is 2 darts away from qualifying. And does he want to do it with a bang?
139.
Well, he almost got the bang. I tell you what a performance this is from Hamilton. I haven't seen him play this well for years.
Well, in back-to-back legs, he's missed the ball on the back of the 170 and the 164.
25.
But he could bring the curtain down on Stephen Johnston's campaign here. 2 darts in hand at double 8. Could tonight be the night where the hammer shines? He gets the better of Stephen Johnston by 4 legs to 1 with a rip-roaring performance. An average of 102.38, 4 from 6 on the doubles, and look what it means. He's a man who has played in the biggest game that this sport has to offer, and at the age of 57, it still means so much to him. Look what it means to the former world finalist, and he's even going to take the set with him. As far as Stephen Johnston's concerned, he can be proud of the fact that he made it through to a final night for the first time in his Super Series career. In both his matches, average in excess of 86, but he was put up against 2 class operators. And so it's going to be Hamilton, it's going to be Sykes through Group 1. Coming up after the break, Group 2, we'll see Bradley Roose enter the fray for the first time tonight, up against Chris Gillan.
Welcome back, and wow, we've seen some rip-roaring performances so far. A couple of 4-0 whitewash wins, and then Andy Hamilton producing that ton-topping average in his 4-1 victory over Stephen Johnson before the break there. That means that Johnson will be heading home, and we now know 3 of the semi-finalists. Of course, Tom Sykes going through as well, Andy Hamilton going through as well, and Justin Smith is also through, but we could find out the last one at the end of the next game. Bradley Roose taking on Chris Gillan, who was on the wrong end of a 4-0 defeat earlier on. So if Roose gets one leg, Justin Smith goes through, and if he wins, he goes through himself. Henry Deacon caught up with the Dutchman a little earlier on.
Bradley, it's been quite the week for yourself over the last couple of days or so. How would you sum it up from your perspective?
Yeah, the first 3 days were not good, actually, to be fair. But I showed in some patches that the game is still there, due to my wrist injury. But yeah, the wrist felt quite better in Group C. So yeah, luckily I qualified myself again for finals night. So yeah, I'm ready for tonight.
I can smell the DP. How is the wrist right now?
Yeah, the wrist is better than... it's actually the same as yesterday, so it's quite good. So I hope I don't feel too much during the matches, but I think I'm playing the 4th match, so I still have a lot of rest. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and let's bring it on.
Well, let's talk about your performances then this week, because there was a marked improvement in Group C, as you mentioned. Yesterday, do you feel like you were getting close to the Bradley Roose that we've seen here in the past?
Yeah, I felt actually quite happy yesterday with my performances with the 170 checkout. And I think it were all 5 matches above the 80 average. So yeah, I felt quite good. And yeah, I showed yesterday that it's still there. Also with my wrist injuries, so yeah, I hope I can hype the crowd up tonight to play my best game tonight.
I was going to mention Saturday nights very good for yourself, Bradley, because you either make a final or you go on and win on the Saturday evening. What is it about tonight that really turns you on?
Yeah, I think it's playing in front of the crowd, because my second World Youth title I played in Lakeside and it was sold out. So since then, yeah, I really liked it to play in front of the cameras and with the crowd, with all the noises and stuff. So yeah, I think that's the main factor that hypes me up to play my best game in front of the crowd.
Well, Bradley, wish you all the very best this evening. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
He will ask a very stiff question. However, this is a match-winning opportunity, and it is at the ball for the first one of the week.
Hair-raising stuff from Bradley Roose. Break and throw here. This could be a big moment for the young Dutchman. He gets a go. Double 16. Fantastic finish from Bradley Roose.
First start. Just got to find that left half this time. Well, that'll do. Double top. That'll do very nicely. That's a wonderful 120 out.
Well, we will find out if he is going to be the champion once again at the end of his visit to the Modus Super Series. He won his previous week, made it through to Champions Week, did the young Dutchman Bradley Roose, of course, a former World Youth Champion. He's taken on Chris Gillan, who was kind of caught in the crossfire of that sublime showing from Smith earlier this evening. And that means that Smith just needs Roose to win one leg, as I mentioned, to qualify himself. Roose needs to win this game. Gillan, to keep his hopes alive, of course, has to win, or he will be heading home. And Bradley does have the support of Revelino Dubois, who has been mentioned. He's in the audience this evening. But can Bradley get the better of Gillan to sort it all out for the semi-finals? We will know our final 4 if the Dutchman gets the job done here. So guiding you through what has so far been very, very quick matches are our commentary team of Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Yeah, welcome back to the action. And game number 4 of the night. It's around about the halfway point of the night's action. But things are getting very interesting now as we know who is already through from Group 1. Sykes and Hamilton will go head-to-head next to see who wins that group. And considering what they've done so far, sign us up for that one. But before we go there,
Game on.
we have to line up what happens in Group 2. Gillan did not get a dart at a double against Justin Smith in match 2. He must get at least 4 in this one, otherwise he's going home after a very long week
100.
where he's already played 24 times. He doesn't want game 25 to be his last one.
Assessing Bradley's numbers for the week, the 19-year-old for the Netherlands. 81.5 average for the week, 66 hits on 225 attempts at the double, 5 ton plus checkouts in there, including the big fish. Finished bottom of Group A
95.
on Wednesday before then winning Group C. He actually has form for doing that previously here at the Super Series, finishing at the bottom end of a Group A, going on to do well in a Group C and then making it through to the final. It took him a couple of attempts before eventually getting over the line on a Saturday night. Lost in finals to Neil Duff in Series 4 and Chris Kontok in Series 5, but then getting that elusive weekly win in the previous series when he got the better of David Cameron in the final.
94.
Not a bad start from Bradley. Miraculously, the outsider for tonight's title.
100.
And one of the outsiders for the week. He was 12-1 to win tonight on Monday morning. I'm sure that's fluctuated quite a lot in the last few days.
100.
But he was 8-1,
Bradley
the
required
outsider
164.
coming into tonight. 164 has been hit 3 times this week already. Not another one, surely. Not quite.
96.
And look at the chances that Gillan is getting tonight. This is about as good as he's getting.
Well, statistically, he is the best chance he's had all night. But he's not going to take out the 112, and so Roose is back for 68 for the breaker throw. Remember, because of Justin Smith's 4-0 win against Gillan, any leg for Roose in this match would send the Bearded Dragon into the semi-finals. And so Bradley can do a job for Justin here.
Wants to do a job for himself, which is double 16.
52. Creature requires 16.
Things have gone a little quiet. Let's see how quiet they are if this goes in.
12.
But it doesn't. And
Bradley
Roose, who
requires
does not have the
16.
darts in this match, could steal them immediately. The man who has constantly improved as the week has gone on has double 4. He takes the first leg against the darts. There's his pal Revelino Dubois, who has played on debut this week and has not
Second leg, it's Bradley to throw
played
first.
that badly at all. He has been a nice
Game on.
breath of fresh air, a somewhat overused phrase I might add, 2 this week. And how many times have we seen, Henry, somebody not making it to Saturday but have stuck around to watch, and that feeds their desire to come back and do it next time.
100.
Well, he's actually sat on the same table as the family of Michael Burgoyne. Just to confirm, that leg win for Bradley Roose has confirmed Justin Smith's place through to the semi-final. So we now know 3 of the 4 players that are
58.
going to be in the final 4. Tom Sykes, Andy Hamilton, they're going to play in the final game of Group 1 to sort out who's going to win the group and who comes second. And if Bradley Roose can win this particular tie against Chris Gillan, we'd know the players that are through, we'd know the players that are out, and all that need to be separated is the I's dotted and the T's crossed as to who wins the group and who comes second. We'd effectively have a couple of shootouts for position. And Gillan's in the same
99.
situation as Johnson in the previous match, where as the legs tick by, he doesn't want to leave Saturday night without a chalk to the board.
But Gilly's been here before.
140.
But isn't it interesting what he was saying in his interview earlier tonight? He's saying tonight is a free hit. But also, he did reference a previous Saturday nightmare, which he said took him a while to get over. At the minute, his dream of winning on Saturday night for the first time is turning into yet another bad dream. Not a good one.
81.
Roose perfectly sets up to leave tops after 12. He himself putting in a big performance out the gate. Averaging 99.5 for this early stage. And for potential 13 data and a 2-zip lead.
40.
We shouldn't be shocked by this standard because of the 3 winners tonight. Accumulatively, they're averaging over 97.
Game shown the second.
And it continues.
Bradley Roose.
It's around about 97 average for Bradley Roose here.
Third leg, it's Chris to throw first.
Penny for the thoughts of Chris. And I said it's a sympathy-free zone, but for this lovely fella from Northern Ireland who has conducted himself with sheer class this week. Honestly, he's like a boxer going into the ring, and he's punching smoke. The way he's been rolling tonight, Bradley Roose is going to score 240 here.
He, like Stephen Johnson, has had no breaks tonight. But this is what happens when you get put in the shark tank.
What kind of shark would Bradley Roose be, I wonder? But if we may digress, we know that his Group A campaign was pretty forgettable. He's looking to do a Kieran Tian here tonight, finishing 6th in Group A and then winning the week.
60.
We reference that often because it was a Herculean thing that Kieran did. And that was the very first Saturday that we had in this building back on September 3rd of 2022.
45.
But because of that bad Group A, we didn't really know whether Bradley was going to qualify through Group C. But if we may somewhat condense what he did
60.
for the week, let's talk about yesterday. 4 wins from 5, averaged 87.55 for the day. Had he done that this week, we'd be talking more positively about him
85.
coming into this night. His immediate form coming into this was his best of the week.
Gillan left on 91 to bring it back to 2-1, and for the first time tonight he's got a bit of breathing space. He's got 6 starts to get the job done, to at least get something on the board. He's going to have a dart at double 16. Just double checks with the referee Owen Binks.
I think he's just checking to see, have I got a dart at a double?
59.
I have, but the consolation prizes that I will possibly get, 3 more. He'll be hoping he doesn't need all 3.
Must be the first time in Chris's mind that he's had a dart at a checkout or a dart at a double, and he's looked behind and the referee's not saying,
100.
said player, you were quiet.
32.
But this time it has to go, and this time it does go. And the arrears are reduced back to 2-1. An ironic celebration as he gets his first leg on the board.
Well, he's a mild-mannered chap, is Chris.
Full flag, it's Bradley to
He
throw
has been
first.
through the mill in the last few months. Broken elbow, rehabbed it, and came back quick. And I'm someone who has broken the non-throwing elbow. That's bad enough. But to break your throwing elbow and then rehab it and come back, I can't even imagine what he's been through.
One thing you get from Chris is a real tenacity, and there is a never say die spirit about him. Okay, he has got a real mountain to climb, but it's one that he's willing to give the best go. Any task that's put in front of him, he will do his best to try and complete.
100.
If I may compliment Northern Ireland, I know quite a few people from that beautiful place, and none of them are snowflakes. They're all made of pretty tough stuff.
125.
May I just congratulate Bradley Roose also on an impeccable haircut all week. As usual, he's
55.
combing his hair with a rake. And the tram lines are very wide. It's almost like he's got somebody doing it for him. Never a hair out of place.
85.
But his spirit this week, his tenacity has not been questioned. His attitude has, because he has had a couple of strops, but he's only 19. He's still learning this game.
100. Chris
But his
Rickle,
attitude has been better
151.
over the last 48 hours. That's why he's here.
151 for Gillan. Not to be. Although I did wonder, I did go to a local shop earlier on today, and I did
91.
see in the cosmetic aisle that there was no hair gel, and obviously Bradley must have taken all of it.
$140.
I'm feeling that
Which
you
requires
could use some
60.
chip fat. That'll get you a nice shine. Speaking of shining,
Game shot
that's
number
scary
4.
good, isn't it?
Chris Gillan.
Get it? Shining, scary. 2-2. Here's
The flag,
Gillan.
it's Chris to throw first.
And he's got the
Game
throwback
on.
as well. This game is just starting.
Well, we mentioned about the resilience of this Northern Irishman, and from 2-0 down, it could have been so easy for him to have caved in, but just as he's opened up the door for an opportunity,
23.
that visit may have just let things slip somewhat. He had the darts in leg 5 to put himself 3-2 to the good, and suddenly the pressure would have been on the shoulders of this young Dutchman, Bradley Roose. Bradley would be thinking, even a treble at this turn piles the pressure on his opponent.
134.
Well, let's look at this from a slightly different angle then. If Gillan wins, Bradley's got to beat Justin Smith. He has not played Justin this
97.
week. And that is not the kind of encounter you want to have to get through to the semis. As dart players, we always want to play the best players. But to have to beat Justin Smith to get through,
180.
it's hard. So maybe the slightly more doable route is to get through Gilly.
Well, this is Chris's cup final, effectively.
140.
Well, it's a knockout game for him. If he loses it, he goes home. Even if he wins, it may not be enough. But he stands himself at least a chance. But Bradley here threatening the break of throw to move 3-2 up. He'd then have the darts in the next to complete the contest. And that 140 has left himself on 47 after 9. In a massive leg, Roose is coming up with the goods.
Can we just praise all of the players on the standard tonight? This is one of the best
140.
weekly finals
Bradley requires
that I've seen
47.
in months. The winning averages tonight are fantastic. At this point, Bradley is averaging close to 100, and he's on double 16 for an 11 darter.
Game shot
And that's what he
number
gets, the
12.
best leg of the night,
Bradley Roose.
and it sets up a hold opportunity to qualify for the semi-finals.
Sick flag, it's Bradley
To
to
quote
throw
Chris
first.
Mason, he says a lot, styles make fights, and most
Yeah, you
certainly everybody in that practice, in the way they play, the pace, the tempo, the way they go about their business, it is feeding off one another, and it is feeding us with a superb night's worth of darts. However, we may well know the final 4 lineup before the final 2 matches of the group stages begin, because Bradley Roose
140.
kicks off 140. If he wins this leg, he is through, as is Justin Smith, and Chris Gillan will depart the scene, just like Stephen Johnston did in the previous match. It'd mean the final 2 group games between Hamilton and Sykes and Roose and Smith would all be
140.
games to determine who wins the group and who comes second. But credit to Gillan, sticking with the Dutchman.
My word, he could get a truck in there. That may just be the best 180 we've seen all week. Seriously impressive. Almost like all 3 darts had a relationship with the top
81.
wire of the 60.
Is that the visit that could be the straw that breaks the back of Chris Gillan? That slip, that's 81. It allows Bradley 6 starts to the match. Remember, he had 11 in the last leg. He could get it done in similar range here.
We're talking about a player that one point this week was averaging in the 60s in a game and was struggling to keep his cool. Right now, he's about as cool as the coolest cucumber in Cool Land. 81 away from a second consecutive 11 darter and an average higher than anybody's tonight.
He's kicked for the line when he needed to. He looks as if he's staved off the Chris Gillan counter-attack. And he is going to come back upon his return with 3 darts in his hand at double 16. These may well be the last darts that Chris Gillan throws this week, but what a week he's had.
79.
He has had a good week.
Bradley, you require 32.
But Bradley Roose's week might just be about to get better. To qualify after one game in Group 2.
Double 8. To complete a roosing win for Bradley. The Dutchman is into the semi-finals with an immaculate display. The first ton-plus average of the night. Well, in this particular group, Hamilton with a 102.38, followed up by Bradley's ton.08, 50% on the doubles. What a performance. What a player. And he is just somebody who is so accustomed to the Saturday night setup, and he is showing that expertise once again. He gets the better at Chris Gillan by 4 legs to 2. It now means we know the final 4 in a few moments' time, but we've still got 2 more group games to go. The matches between Hamilton and Sykes and Roose against Smith will determine who finishes where.
Hang on a minute. Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already. Itching to hit the 180. He's gone for the maximum.
Team for the ball. Ball.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Game shot out of the match. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie face is through.
And he is absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that pie face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series finals night, week 1 of Series 8, and we already know our semi-finalists. Andy Hamilton just pointing the way to the final 4 there, and they're all going to play each other in kind of warm-up matches at the end of the group stages. Tom Sykes and Andy Hamilton both through from Group 1 now. Of course, they could meet in the final, so this gives the players an opportunity to really get one up on their potential opponents later on this evening. The same will count for Bradley Roose and Justin Smith when they play the final Group 2 game, but this one will determine who will win Group 1. And our top two are in comms to talk you through it. It's Henry Deacon and Paul Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Chris. What an evening we've enjoyed here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth on this Saturday night. Every single player has turned it on at some point in proceedings. But it's these two that are going to be progressing through Group 1, Andy Hamilton and Tom Sykes. Both players putting in great performances out the back to get the better of Stephen Johnston. Tom Sykes, a 92.5 average and a 4-0 win against the Scot, 50% on the doubles, and with the only ton-plus checkout of the night so far, the 120. But Andy Hamilton went 10 points better, 102.38, 4 from 6 on the doubles, and this may well be the loudest game of the night because a lot of the support are for both of these players. Hamilton with a section of supporters which feature his family towards the back of the auditorium, towards the top right-hand corner as you look from the overhead angle there, whilst Tom Sykes has that middle row in your picture that are supporting him this evening.
140.
Is that your way of saying that Tom Sykes' posse are in the middle aisle? Maybe he likes certain supermarket brands. But I'll tell you one thing that's very surprising to me. If you'd said to me at the end of game 1 when Sykes beat Stevie Johnston 4-0 that Tom's 92.49 average would be the lowest winning average of the first 4 games, I would have said, you need to go and have a word with yourself. But that is the case. And it's not even close. It's the worst winning average so far tonight by 4 points.
46.
Actually 4.5. That's how good tonight's been.
So what happens when heavyweights collide and they bring out the haymaker jabs?
Heavyweights, figuratively speaking, because Tom Sykes is about 8.5 stone wet through, so he's more of a flyweight. But he punches like that very famous Japanese boxer, doesn't he? Inoue, the monster. And Sykes could be a monster about to roar.
Should mention he's not literally punching at the board.
89.
As he leads himself 32 after 12. You may remember in his previous match he got the job done with a 13 dart. So after leaving 32 after 12, he's looking to kick off in the same vein that he left off in his previous match against Stephen Johnston. And this is for the break of throw as well.
Game shot on the first leg. Tom Sykes.
That's bye-bye to leg 1. And that only took 14 darts, so here we go again. Feels like Christmas round here. It's like Quality Street. I wonder what colour we're going to get next. It's all tasty. Heavens above.
180.
Well, if you had a chance to come here tonight and you didn't, shame on you. This is what you're missing. I love what Murph said in the lead up to this game. It could be the final. If you think the atmosphere will be exactly like this, if this is the final, think again. It'll be very different.
It will be raucous. It will reach fever pitch inside this venue.
And I think in these scenarios, it's key not to take your foot off the pedal. You want to win the group, you want to have the darts in the semi-finals. And the winner of this game will play in the first semi with the throw.
58.
But don't place 100% intensity on it. Just play within yourself in this game. Feel your opponent out. Because if you think about this head-to-head, they haven't played each other here before. Not tonight, anyway. And we have 2 180s in this game so far, and it's only leg 2.
83.
Just give us more of this.
And they require 81.
I could watch this all night long. You could probably watch this all night long. This is for another 11 dart leg this evening. Thing is, he's going to have to recover your sense of dart too, because Sykes is the type of player that can more than threaten the 1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Bullseye.
98.
You're almost surprised to see him miss the bullseye.
And he requires.
Well, this is for the break back for Hamilton. Leaving tops after 12. That feels like the standard bearer in this match. Leaving a double after 4 visits. But you can't afford to miss. Can't afford to miss, Andy. And Sykes has the opportunity to move 2-0 to the good.
Double 8.
No score.
That might be the worst dart he's thrown this
And
week.
he require 5.
That missed by a good inch and a bit. I don't know if you caught that, but he was touching his right pec a little bit there. I wonder if he's got a little twinge.
Well, whatever the issue is, Hamilton has broken back. He's levelled this contest up at 1 apiece.
The leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
This has been the walking wounded week, hasn't it? Roose with his wrist. Burgoyne's had a problem with his lead elbow. Other players with little troubles.
100.
You can get injuries playing darts. It's not a natural position, especially when you're thrusting your arm forward. Well, how many times in an hour?
140.
Hundreds? Thousands? Just speak to Andy about that. He's had a career longer than most people's lives in the building.
Well, this really is a contrast on the experience scale. Andy Hamilton, a man who's made it through to a World Championship final, has been at the top end of the sport now for the best part of 25 years or so, up against Tom Sykes, who has only really come to prominence in the last year or so, but boy, has he come to fruition in some style. How he's made a big name for himself in such a short space of time. But the one thing about Tom that stands out more than anything else is, despite all of the successes that he has had, is the fact that he has not changed with that. He is still that humble lad from Yorkshire who travels around with his family. His dad a big part of that, his partner a big part of that as well. And they are riding the crest of the wave together.
I think that's sometimes forgotten, you know. When people make it to a certain level, they think that they need to change something to get better.
58.
Not necessarily true. Keep doing what you're doing if you're winning. Not a shot at bullseye this time.
57.
But Hamilton has choices from this one. He can go the Taylor route, which is 61st, or he can go new school on 51. Look north. Not north enough.
91.
And this here could well be the 3rd consecutive breaker throw to kickstart this contest. It's only going to be a dart. A double 16. But it's taken by Sykes. He moves 2-1 to the good. The family approve. That's his manager there, giving it the big licks.
Game on.
Is he called Jack?
Yes. He's been backing him with ADC competitions and the Challenge Tour events he has taken part in 2024. It's very much a team thing with Tom Sykes.
That's what top dart players need. They need to tick the boxes. They need to get things right. If you can have a team around you that let you just play, there's no excuse. If the finances are taken care of, the sponsors, the social media, the health, all of that, that's taken care of. You wake up in the morning, your responsibility is to play, to practice, to get better. If you think about something else as well about this game, isn't it a good thing that Sykes has come to prominence in the last year? Because round about now, he's got an opportunity to play against some people who may be coming to the end of their careers. If he'd chosen to start 2, 3, 4 years down the track,
58.
might have missed his window to play against someone like Hamilton.
I genuinely think he's the first superstar that we've unearthed naturally, organically, through the system.
So what you're talking about is through ADC to Super Series to beyond.
Agreed.
And we've taken a little bit of credit for Littler, but I think that one is down to the JDC.
140.
I think it'd be a bigger story for us if Tom Sykes went to the sort of level that Littler went to, and he's going through the levels here. Has to go big. Does go big. Leaves himself on tops. Hamilton has to take the 134 out. Simple as that.
So it's going to be 54 first this time for 2 double tops. But no trouble.
94.
Means that Sykes can put himself within 1 leg of winning this group. He's just not putting a foot wrong. He is living in a mid to low 90s range tonight with some expert stuff on the outer ring. 50% in his first game, 43% here, and that, over the course of a longer period of time, will do a lot of damage.
93.
Attainable greatness from Tom Sykes.
100.
That's his 6th score of 140 or more in this contest. The average above 96.
I applaud the way that some of these players tonight can play in front of their loved ones, their supporters.
58.
I could never do it. I actively told people to stay away. You've got to do what's right for you, and my word, somebody get a ruler. 3 in a row. Put a spirit level against that, and it's going to be right on the 90-degree mark. Serious skills from Sykes.
And a bit like a spirit level, Sykes is bubbling up. He has absolutely blown Hamilton away from 1 apiece. Had to ride his coattails at times, but as soon as he moved himself 3-1 up, there has seemingly been only 1 winner of this contest.
But where have we seen it before? Where people play each other in the group,
58.
and then things are reversed later on. This is just the first job. To win the group, he will need tops when he comes back. He has done the job, bar 1 thing. Hit that double, and he will have 1 game off before he plays in semi-final 1 with the throw, and he will play against the loser of the next match. Isn't that a lovely thing that Tom's just done? Even in the heat of battle, for his older opponent, he's still doing the gentlemanly thing. He's not just a champion, he's a gent.
And he's the winner of the group. Tom Sykes gets the better of Andy Hamilton by 4 legs to 1, and it is going to be the man from Castleford that is going to be top of the pile as far as Group 1 is concerned. His record on a Saturday night is second to none. He at least makes the final in each of his previous appearances, and with another performance like that, he wouldn't bet against him going there again. That the tail of the tape from that particular contest against the Hammer, a 95.38 average, 4 from 10 on the doubles. Tom Sykes, the winner of Group 1, Andy Hamilton, the runner-up. Well, it's going to be the same equation in our next game. Bradley Roose against Justin Smith. The winner will top the pile. The loser will be runner-up.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Liveline.
They've both got the talent where they can just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
But what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Josh Smith, is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot.
He gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
Game shot on the fourth leg.
Just
Darius
like that.
Labanowski.
only needs the one. And there you can see
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him. And is. It was a great guide.
Shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's
Harrison.
a breaker throw for Andreas Harrison.
Shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw. Double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison. Welcome back. So the final group game tonight will determine who plays who in the semi-finals. We already know the four that will be there, and we now know that Tom Sykes will play in the first as the Group 1 winner. And therefore, whoever is beaten in this Group 2 game will take on Sykes in that first semi. They'll have the short turnaround. The victor will take on Andy Hamilton in semi-final number 2. And as Henry and Paul have been saying in comms, there have been some electrifying performances tonight, but they've all kind of been by one player in a match. If two of them put it together, we could have some real Super Series classics between now and the end of the evening. Can that start here? We're about to see. I'll hand you back to Henry and Paul.
Good point, Murph. If both players turn up, could be a whirlwind in here. But one thing we do know tonight is that you can't really rely on previous games against certain opponents this week, because if you look at Bradley Roose, who was fabulous against Gillan in Game 4,
Game on.
he played Gilly 3 times this week and lost 4-1 3 times. But come Saturday, turns it around and averages in 3 figures for the first time this week.
180.
And he's getting the short shift tonight, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean that if he wants to win the whole thing, he plays from Game 4 to the end. That's the shortest shift of anybody.
100.
We have never had a 9-dart leg on a Saturday night.
140.
Yet.
The rate goes on.
It'll happen at some point. And you know what? I want it to happen on a night like tonight, when this crowd have energized every player who has walked up the steps. They're a credit to the darts community. We're going to get some volume like we did on Champions Night for Andreas Harrison.
59.
In fairness, we probably could have superimposed that because they both had pretty much the same setup.
140.
It's a good spot, that.
Bradley require 122.
Someone's going to be feeling blue after this one, because they'll have to come straight back to the hockey. This one's all red.
108. Justin, you require 81.
Immediate break.
Game
You bet
shot
it
on
is.
the first leg. Justin Smith.
Bearded Dragon, that's his nickname. I tell you what, if he's breathing fire tonight, the beard is going to be singed.
Game on.
He said to you earlier tonight, Henry, that he's got a baby on the way.
100.
Do you remember who was a new father very recently this year, who went on to win a lot of money here at the Modus Super Series? Scott Taylor.
100.
You cannot tell me that dart players at this level are not motivated by money and titles and confidence for their families here on nights like tonight.
Who better than example than Conan Whitehead?
Correct.
So far this evening, Justin Smith's legs have been won in 12. He got over the line with a measly 19 darter against Chris Gillan. But other than that, a 15, a 13, a 15. It's fair to say that he is turning up tonight, and he could be on for another 12 darter here if he pins the 121. This is insane. Chris Murphy said in the introduction to this game, what would happen if two were to tango? This is what happens. This is for back-to-back 12 dart legs, and he may lose the leg.
Ready, require 161.
He is going to get a chance at double 9. However, when he's on shots like this,
99.
he does tend to split them.
18.
2 8s.
Game shown the second leg.
Everything he's
Justin
doing tonight
Smith.
has got real sense to it. And the execution he has got in his arsenal is backing it up. He looks maybe as good as he ever has in Portsmouth. Because there have been times when he's turned up on a night or an afternoon and he's looked outrageous. He's got it. It's just a question of whether it turns up.
Well, Bradley Roose could potentially be pilgrimed here because he's averaging 118.44 and is 2-0 down.
And the person that beat him in that game was who?
Scott Taylor.
There you go. We've gone full circle.
Although Darrell did respond by averaging 122 in the next game against Dennis Aldercoulter, which remains the all-time record here. Records could be tumbling in front of our eyes this evening. Look at those averages, 116, 112. It's a superb contest which rounds off a nigh and immaculate group phase.
And it somewhat describes just how good the Saturday night record is here, which is over 117.
Well, Bradley Roose could do that in a losing effort. Although he has got an opportunity to pull one back here.
One of the main reasons his average is so high is because he's only had one dart at a double. He's getting another one. And it's a brilliant one. We're having some fun now, aren't we? These guys are already through.
It's Justin to throw first.
It's like these two just rocked up on London Road and said, you know what, shall we have a drag race? You get in your car, I'll get in mine. Let's see how fast we can go.
We've covered enough events and commentated on enough events over the years to just know when you walk into an arena on a certain night whether you think something special is about to happen. There was just a sense when I walked into the live lounge around about 20 past 5 this evening that something special was going to happen in amongst these four walls. You could sense it, you can smell it, and the players are showing it.
Do you know what's funny? All these people in here are watching this world-class game for the price of £2. I paid more for some diced mango for me dinner.
Paid more for the plastic fork, I heard.
100.
No forking jokes, Henry.
100.
This is no joke, though. Tom Sykes is in the first semi-final. Whoever loses this match will take him on, and good luck. But Hamilton is waiting for the winner in the second semi.
49.
Almost a 3-1 lead. He will be back for double 16. We're going to see a rare, possibly, 6-visit leg.
Absolutely rubbish. Overrated. Don't know what we're on about.
97. Justin, you require 32.
For a 3-1 lead. Double 8. Now, because his darts kick up, sometimes when the dart goes on the inside of double 16, I like that on the double 8. This is awkward. This is awful for him.
Nah, he's already had dart of the week. He'll hit this.
16.
He hit a double 10
Bradley require
almost over the shoulder of the
142.
referee earlier in the week. I'm surprised he missed that.
Well, Bradley has hit 5-ton plus checkouts before tonight, has hit one this evening, but the 142 isn't going to add to the myriad of big finishes that he's had
Justin, you require
over the course of the last 6 days. So this for 3-1. And this time, Justin Smith makes no mistake. He's a leg away.
97.94 the average for Smith. And give or take a few tenths of a point, that is what the winners are averaging tonight. High 97s.
83.
Scary that Bradley Roose could be averaging over 100 in his group games and only win 50% of them.
100.
However, the job is to get through the group and to then wipe the slate clean and then play in the knockouts at the end of the week in games 102, 103, and game 104 is the big one.
To describe how the players are playing in this group stage in a sentence, firing on all cylinders is probably the most appropriate one.
There are times when I wish that some of these games were best of 19 or even best of 31. I'll have to do with... I'll have to make do with best of 7 for this one. Justin only wants to play 5 legs. I promise you that.
140.
Well, we have had a comment in our chat from Darren saying, £2 for a ticket, you must be joking, commentary. I'm not joking. Dartshop.tv. Get yourself a ticket. Reserve it for one of the
60.
Saturday nights in the series or the Champions night. I am not kidding.
He is literally not kidding. And Justin Smith could quite literally be on course to win the group here.
100.
For someone who is a very adept counter, I find that last start quite puzzling.
And Bradley Roose comes back with a counter punch.
Justin, you require
But is it going to be irrespective in the end? As Smith looks to finish off with a ton topper. Double 16 to finish in style. The bearded dragon with another beautiful performance. He gets the better of Bradley Roose by 4 legs to 1 to seal his spot at the top of Group 2. And getting the better of Bradley Roose, who averaged just under a ton himself. 98.43 the end average for Justin Smith, who just looks in the mood, doesn't he? That's the tail of the tape from the last game of what has quite simply been, in my opinion, the best group stage we have ever seen at any finals night here at the Modus Super Series. 6 superb games. 6 games that has been littered with quality from start to finish. And the best bit, we're only getting started for the evening. The semi-finals will follow in a few minutes' time. But first things first, Paul Nicholson's going to have a chat with Chris Murphy after this short break.
Welcome back to what has been a very entertaining evening here at finals night of week one, just week one, and what a start to a series. Finals night at this point. Now, Henry Deacon, they're certainly enjoying it in the audience down there. Henry Deacon said it's the best group games we've ever seen. Now, he does get carried away from time to time, does our Henry, but is he right on this occasion?
I've got to side with him. I think of all of the Saturday nights that we've covered together as well, we've had some great ones. We've had some superb performances. It's not even over yet. I think we should maybe say that it's been the best group stage that we've seen at a Saturday night, but we have seen incredible semi-finals and incredible finals. If it continues in this vein, it's going to be up there with one of the greatest Saturdays we've ever had.
Absolutely could be. Well, let's show you what we've seen so far and, of course, preview the semi-finals. And with those results there, you can see the averages, Paul. You've got a 92.49 for starters for Tom Sykes. That was usurped by the 102.88 from Andy Hamilton in a 4-1 win. Sykes then getting a 4-1 win over the Hammer. They could meet in the final, of course. And Smith, Roose and Smith again winning with averages as high as 97 up to 100.
We did say that Group 2, you could have any combination of the players in there making it through, but Gillan was put to the sword, wasn't he? But Group 1, Tom Sykes bossed it, and considering some of the numbers that we've seen, it just goes to show what he's capable of doing. I did a quick calculation at the end of the group games. The average for all of the winning games tonight, 97.62. And when you compare that to PDC Pro Tour, that is up there. That is hugely impressive. People have turned up on Saturday night and they have come to play and come to win.
Very impressed with the quick maths as well. If Rachel Riley's ever unwell, you know where to come. In terms of the players that have gone through, who has impressed you the most?
I think Sykes has been really consistent. His timing has been spot on. I think if you look at Roose, he's played some super stuff. But I think all of them, it's quite simple, all of them deserve some credit. I think Sykes getting the first game of the night, he may have set the tone. I've seen it in local darts, I've seen it at county darts and international stuff as well. They always say that if someone gets out there and sets a standard, people want to follow it. And when Sykes was winning that first game with a 92.5 average, the people in the practice room probably thought, is that what we're going to have to do tonight? We better switch on.
And then Andy Hamilton in the same group did switch on, didn't he? He upped it. He had an average of 102. He was sensational.
He was. I said in commentary, this is maybe the best I've seen Andy play in years. And you look at shots like this, you think, well, he's going to hit this. He obviously didn't. But the interaction of the crowd, the spirit shown from Hamilton at the end when he got the win, he thoroughly enjoyed this match. And he wanted to put on a show. He didn't disappoint.
Yeah, when he came off the stage, he really was lapping it up. Some of it the audience at home would have seen. Some they weren't. It took him a while to get off the stage. He just kept giving it large, didn't he?
When you're having fun, you don't want it to stop. And for someone like Andy, who hasn't won here, and he's the only person, funnily enough, in the semis who has not won a weekly title, this is the hard way of doing it, but my word, it will be worth waiting for if he can get it.
What a story that would be. What a story it would be just in terms of 1 week at the Super Series if Bradley Roose were to go and win this tonight. Bearing in mind where he was in the early part of the week, what a tremendous effort.
I spoke to him on Friday morning and I asked him a very vivid question. I said, if you make Saturday, and now we know that he has made Saturday, but if you make Saturday, does that make this the best qualifying accomplishment? He said, yes, it would, because of the lows that he's had. But look at the highs. He was brilliant yesterday, averaging 87 for the day. I know that is, to a lot of people, quite mundane, but considering the improvement of around about 7-8%, that was monstrous. But now he's gone up another level. Exponentially, he's turned into a monster, and he's going to be very hard to stop. You might have to do what Justin Smith's just done to stop him in the next match.
And he was very good in that game himself, Bradley, wasn't he? Just based on tonight, he certainly got what it takes to go and win again and get to Champions Week again.
He has. I think what Tom Sykes has got to be really careful of is he's not playing Bradley Roose from Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. He's playing Bradley Roose 2.0 from this week. And if he thinks he's going to get the same as earlier in the week, he's going to be wrong. Bradley's played some great darts tonight, averaging 100 for the night. Let's not forget that. If he continues that, Tom's got a problem.
Justin Smith, you mentioned him. He's been pretty dominant in terms of the outcome of both of his matches. Has he really emerged as the main rival for Sykes this evening?
I think he was at the start anyway. Sometimes in a week, you can look at the Group A winner and the Group B winner and think that they're the big cats here. But the fire breathing from the bearded dragon at times tonight shows that, in Henry's words, he's in the mood. And when he's in the mood, he is brilliant to watch.
Yeah, some fantastic stuff from him. Out of all of them, I mean, they've all played really well. And we mentioned it just before that game. We're waiting for 2 players to ignite. Well, they did in the last match. We could get some real classics here, couldn't we?
I hope we do, because I don't want this night to peter out into some, the kind of stuff that we may have seen during the week from 2 people struggling with their game. I think the energy and the adrenaline in the room is helping these players to keep themselves at that high level. The crowd have got a responsibility now to get involved and to keep them at that height. And if they do, we could be in for a classic night.
First semi-final, Tom Sykes against Bradley Roose. We spoke about both players. One little element of this for a player that has had a bit of an injury is the fact that he's going to have to come straight back on after just playing the last match and then play the favourite. Is that the sort of big disadvantage for Bradley Roose in that spot?
Potentially, but I think when you're playing consecutive games on a Saturday night, they're happy that we're having a chat like this, just to give them that little breather. And it's not like he hasn't done this before. And 3 of the 4 guys have gone on to win the whole thing on a Saturday night. So it won't feel that different. They've been through different situations. And Bradley, let's not forget, he's had almost the perfect week before, winning Group A, winning his group, and then winning the night. He's just going to have to do it a different way this time.
And then Hamilton against Smith. I mean, the players have definitely, you look down at the audience down there, they've definitely been feeding off them, haven't they? I think we might see a little bit of noise in that one.
You think? I think what we've seen from Andy tonight is a little dose of what is possible. But if he can get his way through the semi-final and into the final, I think we might go nuclear, Andy Hamilton. And we want to see that. I'm not sure his opponent does, though.
What are you expecting to see from the rest of the evening?
I wouldn't be surprised to see the standard drop maybe 5%. If we go to the 90 to 92 range, it's still good darts. It's still brilliant darts, in fact. But I think we might see a few more misses on the outer ring, a few more edgy shots, because that will just add to the drama.
And who are you expecting to see playing in that showpiece match at the end of the night and for the chance to be the first through to the next Champions Week?
You know how stubborn I am. You know what I'm going to say next, don't you? I'm not going to change my mind on Sykes. He's had the Bradley Roose week at the minute. He won Group A. He's won Group 1. He's now got the darts in the semi-finals. I'm not going to change my mind on that one, but it could be anybody from semi-final 2.
Right, should we get the semis underway?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. The first one is Tom Sykes against Bradley Roose for the right to reach the final and return to Champions Week. The Week 1 semi-finals are about to get started.
And he's the winner of the group. Tom Sykes gets the better of Andy Hamilton. To complete a rousing win for Bradley. The Dutchman is into the semi-finals.
Well, plenty of support in the audience. You can just see them sitting down there. They were standing up because they do indeed love the darts, but a fair few of them in the middle of the arena there were supporting Tom Sykes. They've made the trip down from Yorkshire to cheer for the Castleford Tiger. Bradley Roose rather cleverly trying to get the rest of the crowd on his side and maybe even up the support for the evening. But Sykes, well, he was excellent in his group campaign, not just the group campaign tonight, but of course in winning Group A earlier in the week, and remains a favourite to take the title this evening. Bradley Roose, like Sykes, has been there, done it before, won it before, and it would be a really good story if he could return from injury this week, from the depths of Group A to beating the winner of that group and getting through to the final. So it's time to hand you back to our top-notch commentary team, Paul Nicholson, and a very excited Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Chris. And so from the fun of the group stages to the serious business of the semi-finals. These two know exactly what it's like to reach the Super Series summit, to win a week and to make it through to multiple finals.
59.
There's 6 of them between them, if you include a Champions Week final for Tom Sykes. So these are 2 real experienced campaigners slugging it out in this first semi. Sykes won Group 1.
100.
getting the better of Stephen Johnston 4-0 and then Andy Hamilton by 4-1. Both of those averages in the 90s region. Both performances saw good doubling numbers as well, 50% and 40% respectively. For Bradley Roose, well, he kicked off a ton-topping average in a 4-2 success against Chris Gillan and averaged nigh on a ton in a 4-1 defeat to Justin Smith. Usually in sport, we say the phrase winner stays on, but in the case of Bradley Roose, it's loser stays on.
81.
Nitty-gritty time, isn't it? It's big paycheck time as well. Time to take it to the bank. 3 players in the final 4 in week 1 of Series 8 have done it before. Only Andy Hamilton has not won a Saturday night here in Portsmouth.
139.
So they know they can do it. It's just a question of who it will be. Or will it be the man who has not done it before? Hamilton will play against Justin Smith in the second semi.
Tommy require 88.
This is the first doubling exchange of this first semi. Sykes needs the ball.
63.
Sykes is unable to get
Bradley
the ball.
require 110.
Bradley back on 110. And it could well be exchanges like this that hold such a huge weight in this semi-final. He's going to get a dart, a double 16 for the break. He cannot take
Tommy
it though.
require 25.
Double 8 for the auctionman.
9.
Casts a shadow and throws a shadow of a dart.
Bradley require
He's wishing he had a
32.
4th, but the rules state you can only have 3.
That's the first time we've seen any kind of blot on the doubling for Tom Sykes this evening. How crucial could that be? Can Bradley punish? Double 8. Punish he will, break he will, and it's first blood to Bradley Roose. 1-0 up is the Dutchman.
And let me just
Second
run you
leg, it's
through
Bradley to throw first.
the nightly averages for the 4 semi-finalists because I can never remember
Game
on
on.
my watch seeing anything like this. Roose 99.72 for the night prior to that first leg. Tom Sykes 93.94. Hamilton 93.64. And Justin Smith 97.7.
60.
The big guys from this week have turned up at just the right time. And this is a night that doesn't even
93.
include the 3-time Lakeside champion Martin Adams. The next level of the sport, behind the PDC Elite, is looking very, very bright if you consider what we're seeing tonight and what we've seen on the Challenge Tour the last couple of days.
Well, the numbers for all 4 players would cut it at the highest level. Let's get that right.
100.
Yes, they would.
But suddenly from the rip-roaring mesmeric heights of the numbers that we saw in the group stages, suddenly the little bit of lull to proceedings. Suddenly the players know exactly what's at stake. These are the big money matches.
100.
These are the matches that win you through to Champions Weeks. And suddenly it's entering the players' minds, and suddenly a little bit of nerve set
132.
into proceedings.
I think Roose is slowing this game down a little bit. He's trying to dictate the pace, which is very clever, because Sykes wants to get on with it. Next time he throws, just look at the extra 2 or 3 seconds
46.
he takes when Sykes is outside of the exclusion zone. Sykes wants to be in a circle the whole time, constantly moving.
136.
There were the extra couple of seconds. Just checking his score and staying in his own little routine.
42. Tommy required
Sykes once
40.
again leaves a double after 12. This time tops. Now double 10. For the break back, and he doesn't have to go for this. He
35.
didn't have to go for it with Bradley all the way back at 193. And because he's gone below, he has now left himself on 5. This could get precarious from here.
I think he realised it as soon as he looked at the monitor.
$96. Tommy required 5.
He's in the best position to fix it. But that's the problem. He made the mistake, in our opinion, about not busting the shot. But now Bradley Roose might recognise this situation. And if he can find 97, a 2-0 lead against the fancied Sykes, he will have the final in his sights.
$37.
Oh, that was a lazy third one, though. Can Sykes get the leg? Eventually.
Game shown the second.
Now he can forget about
Tom
it.
Sykes.
Well, let's go back to that incident in play. Is it a case of he was so in tune that he didn't even look at the opponent's scoreboard? And if so, is that an error in itself?
Game on.
Sometimes it's just a little bit of inexperience. Sometimes it's just because the juices are flowing and you stay within your own little bubble and you just go for the shot anyway. Some people, let's be honest here. If you've got 10 left with one dart and your opponent is not on the finish, there are players out there who will go for it no matter what. And that's their choice. But we believe,
100.
as experts within the sport, that busting the shot is the right play. I think he's the kind of player that does do that.
82.
But because he was so focused on trying to take the leg that he forgot about it. And it happens every now and again. People aren't perfect.
Well, this is suddenly getting very edgy. Which perhaps is a little bit of a surprise when you consider these are two real experienced campaigners when it comes to this stage of the competition. There's 6 finals between this pair, including a Champions Week final. If anything, you thought that this stage would maybe inspire them instead of the nerves jangling around the body. It's all about who can make that first real breakthrough. Could it be Bradley here? Well, that's the game's first max. And it leaves himself on 81 after 9.
Seems like a long time ago since Monday.
126.
Because on Monday, Sykes beat Roose 4-0. And it was at that point we started to worry about Bradley. We don't seem to be worrying as much anymore. The next day, Sykes beat him again 4-0. Interesting. He chose not to go for 12 and bull with Sykes on 136. Was that a mistake? That calculated gamble has paid off potentially, but that was risky.
And let's not forget, that could be a psychological power play that just rears its head later on in the match as well. As you see again, Bradley making sure that he is set before he gets to the board. Is he going to be set for the break?
Good luck with this one.
No score.
He had a gate of tungsten in his way. He needed a magician to get through those two blockers.
Told me require 40.
Well, Sykes, by hook or by crook, is on tops. Now tends to take the leg.
Game shown the third.
Takes it.
Tom Sykes.
Bradley Roose has only won one leg against Sykes coming into Saturday night.
To throw first.
He needs more than one if he wants to get to the final. Tom can count himself fortunate to have had that shot. But this is darts. And sometimes you do need your opponent to miss.
Well, Sykes is now halfway towards the victory post. And his partner there watching on, but almost watching on.
140.
Hands through her eyes. It's worse for the families. It's worse for those that are supporting Team Tom Sykes than it is for Tom Sykes physically on the stage.
41.
This is where Bradley's got to keep his cool. At times this week, he has lost it.
Alternatively, you're Tom Sykes. You're thinking, this is the moment where I really can break the back of this contest.
I think experience dictates as well that when your opponent is showing signs of frustration. You cannot get too excited about it. You've got to keep your own cool in that situation. Not get too carried away. This is more like it. That's what it's all about. And somebody is on a finish after 9, courtesy of that first maximum in this semi for him.
But also, do you see the peacockeries? He hit that maximum, just trying to say something to Bradley, and Bradley does it in return. This game really is heating up now. Oh my goodness, double 18. If that went, we would have reached fever pitch.
Bradley require 106.
Trying to do to Bradley what Bradley did to Justin Smith in the previous match. So now he has the same thing that Justin Smith had in that match. 18. Go or split? Wouldn't want to be that dart on the floor. If looks could kill, the tungsten would melt.
80.
The only other time which would be worse than that for a rejection is on the aisle.
He's going to go the same route. Oh, no!
No score.
Don't take your eyes off the singles.
Bradley require 80.
He is furious.
An unforced error at the worst possible time. And it has given Roose a reprieve. But he knows there's a chance he has to take. It's only going to be a dart. Tops. Played safe with dart 2. Fires home dart 3 to level this contest up.
Bradley Roose. Fifth leg, it's Tom to throw
Keep your 90 plus averages. Just give me this
on.
drama. Seriously. At the end of tonight, we're all going to need to lie down.
This is a pressure cooker right here, right now. Oh, hello.
Whoa!
We're reaching the business end now, folks.
Yeah, that was a world-class 180. Of that, there is no doubt. Best of 3 legs to see who makes the final.
$57.
Is Sykes having the darts going to be the telling factor? Yes!
177.
What are we about to see? Sykes is 3 darts away from Super Series Saturday history. If he finds 2 treble 20s and double 12, it will be the first 9 on a Saturday here we've ever seen. Oh, we'll have to settle for 7.
The crowd were praying it in. However, Bradley's nowhere to be seen in this leg. He's on for a 10 to go 3-2 up. There's a sporting acknowledgement from Bradley, but in his mind, he knows that he's a long way back in this leg. And okay, Sykes has been nigh on perfect, but there's been nothing in the background for Bradley.
This is where you forget about the 9 attempts. You take the deep breath and you say to yourself, win the leg.
$8.
It happens a lot. When you've been close to a perfect leg, the heartbeat goes up, the blood starts pumping a bit faster, and it's very hard to come down in a matter of 10 to 20 seconds.
Well, I was going to say that he's been given time to allow himself to calm down. Roose has left himself on a finish, but it's 156. This to move 3-2 in front. Sykes is a leg away from the final.
Tom Sykes.
A leg away from what would be his 4th final, all told. He's been all the way to the jackpot game. He's won a week. He's lost another qualification week. Bradley Roose has never tasted defeat beyond the semi-finals or before the semi-finals on a Saturday night. He's going to have to win 2 on the spin if he's going to keep up his unblemished record of making it through to the jackpot match on a Saturday.
100.
He's had some great opponents along the way. It was always going to take something
96.
rather extraordinary to stop Bradley Roose tonight, and he's already been stopped by that gargantuan performance from Justin Smith.
60.
After everything he's been through this week, a semi-final actually doesn't sound that bad. However,
180.
3 maximums and a 177 in this game from Sykes after an edgy start. And he's only 225 away from another final.
He is a big-time player, Tom Sykes, and he is showing it again in this semi-final.
58.
That could well be the last slip that Bradley Roose makes in this contest. 6 for the match for Tom Sykes to make it through to yet another final here at the Super Series. Decisions to make.
73.
Old Faithful. Does anybody this week like the bullseye more than Sykes? I'm not sure they do. Having said that, we might reference the bullseye challenge that Justin Smith had this week. If you haven't seen it, we'll reference it after this match, which might go all the way all of a sudden.
52.
From nowhere, Bradley somewhere, but it could be out if Sykes found the 152. Needs to find a treble here.
60.
And suddenly the pendulum could swing once more. Roose 103 for last leg
Bradley
decider.
require 103.
This young lad is only 19. He's got the heart of a gladiator. He just refuses to fail. Double 12.
79.
Just a little bit too much on that one. He picked the wrong club out the bag. And now Sykes could be in the final. He needs another. What a finish! What a player Tom Sykes is! It's taken something very, very special to put Bradley Roose out, but that man could be on the way to his second Saturday night success here in Portsmouth. He basically lives in this city when he's not at home, and he's just done it again. He's going to play against Hamilton or Justin Smith in the final, and he may just be the favourite, not just to win here, but the whole series as well. Another winning average over 90 here tonight. In fact, it's the lowest winning average of the night, but maybe the most dramatic match we saw. 7 perfect darts was the highlight potentially, but even missing 17 darts at a double in that semi-final, he was allowed to get through to the final match. Everybody take a breath, go and get yourself a libation and come back for semi-final 2, which is not far away.
Welcome back. Well, when Paul Nicholson and I chatted before the semi-finals, we thought that one of them might have some bravado and testosterone and machismo on that stage. We actually thought it'd be the next one between Justin Smith and Andy Hamilton. Actually, the one between Bradley Roose and Tom Sykes had plenty of that. So much darting drama in that first one. Sykes getting the job done in the end, and if this one can take it up a level, then it is going to be gripping stuff. So keep your eyes on this one. Hamilton about to take on Smith in semi-final number 2.
Double 60 to finish in style. The Bearded Dragon with another beautiful performance. Could tonight be the night where the hammer shines? He gets the better of Stephen Johnston.
And Andy Hamilton is still chasing that maiden Modus Super Series title. He's won stuff that none of them have won in his career, of course. Plenty of PDC titles to his name. Also went on to reach the biggest final that you can get to in this game. But he's looking to get through to the final on the Super Series stage. And he's been improving, hasn't he, over the last year, Andy Hamilton. Feels like he might be ready, but he's going to have to be if he's going to get the better of Justin Smith here. And then Tom Sykes in the final. Wow, what a prospect that would be. Smith has been excellent all evening himself. The Welshman has been in fine fettle so far tonight, and he is looking to win again here at the Super Series, having done so previously. As for Andy Hamilton, as I said, he's hoping to send his, well, now home fans happy from Stoke-on-Trent, but now bases himself in the Southampton area and is kind of enjoying a second coming in his career. Will it be crowned with a title tonight? Well, the next step is about to take place, and Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon will guide you through the action.
Thank you very much, Chris. So we know Tom Sykes is into the final. Who is going to join him? Justin Smith, a man who has made it through to a final before. He's won a final. He's beaten Andy Hamilton in a semi-final at the Super Series. It was back in Series 2, Week 3. It went all the way to a last leg decider. Justin Smith won 4-3. Is history going to repeat itself here, or can Andy Hamilton level up the scores in semi-final stakes and see himself through to what would be a second final here at the Live Lounge?
There's a real atmosphere here. I applaud the fact that Chris Murphy has just sworn on Modus Super Series broadcast, saying the word Southampton. That's where our previous studio was. But sometimes in order to have another phase or another chapter of your career, you do need to up sticks and find something else. But I think at the start of this second semi-final, something needs to be addressed. Because Justin Smith has been brilliant this week.
44.
Apart from one thing. He has not beaten Andy Hamilton. And it's not because he hasn't played him. They've played twice the last couple of nights. And when Justin was playing brilliantly, there's only one man that has stopped him this week. And that is the man in purple. If he does it again, he'll have a chance of beating the Group B winner and the Group A winner to win his first Super Series Saturday night title.
$137.
Smith's got off the better of the two in this first leg. First to a finish in leg one with the darts. If Hamilton's going to keep pace with him, he needed to have found a maximum there. He's not going to do so, and so Smith's going to have 6 and 148 to take out the opening rubber. And you just get the sense that after the drama and the emotion of the first semi-final, things have just calmed a little bit here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth at the beginning of semi-final number 2. In fact, this is going to be one of a very few legs that Justin Smith could well take out beyond 15 darts, because 5 visits has very much been his range this evening.
100.
There's going to be pressure on this 90 now.
Stay straight. Double 5.
85. And he require 116.
If he misses the 60, he wants this first start to be just above. That's not bad. He can get past that. Hate to say I told you so.
80.
But he can't find the full stop.
Justin, you require 5.
And so the bearded dragon is allowed to breathe again. Double 2. And he draws first blood in this semi-final. The Welshman one up on the hammer. After Hamilton had missed a dart himself at double 18 on the back of the 116. Crowd will very much be on the side of Andy Hamilton because he has his support base to the back of it. But I just wonder, the way Justin Smith goes about his business, the way he plays the game, that he is the type of player that would endear himself to the neutrals. With darts like that.
140.
He's a bit of a beast when it comes to darts because he throws them so hard. But it's amazing how things change and how things stay the same within sport on a daily or weekly basis or even a season. Because tonight, on the 8th of June, it's all about England versus Wales.
100.
Englishman in the final. Englishman trying to join him. Welshman trying to stop that second Englishman. And in Copenhagen, Wales won against England. Price winning in Copenhagen, his first PDC title of the year. Could that be a sign for Justin Smith that he could do just the same?
180.
That's a good sign.
And he require 100.
The truth be told, the signs have been good all evening for him. Hamilton leaving a 2-darter after 9. And he may be in severe trouble if he doesn't take it out. He's not going to take it out. And Justin Smith's on for an 11-dart break of foe to move 2-0 to the good.
Oh, he got greedy. Now is not the time. When your opponent's on 40, I implore players to go for the single to guarantee the shot of the ball. Going for the treble is a risk.
And this is a game where neither player will expect second chances. But is Justin going to get one? No is the answer. Hamilton levels up. And that trademark roar is there to see. There to hear.
The leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on.
Could history repeat itself from the final that Andy was playing in?
96.
You brought it up earlier, Henry, when he played John Worsley. He could have actually won that final against the Welshman.
5 missed darts to win that particular contest. Is it going to be a full circle moment for the hammer here this evening?
62.
That was in the week 1 of a series. That was the very first week of a qualification phase back in Series 3. 5 series on. This time maybe he will be the first name into the hat.
Quite frankly, wherever you're watching from, I'm not bothered if you believe in things going full circle because it happens. Think about the fact that Scott Waits made the Grand Slam final.
43.
He may have thought at that point, that might be the one time I had a chance at a PDC title. What happened 12 months later? He made the final again and won it.
41.
That's just one example. I'll give you one from my own career. 2008 Australian Open final, I played Robert Thornton. I thought that was my one chance at that time to maybe get a PDC title. What happened 12 months later? Robert and I played in the final again. Sometimes life gives you second chances.
140.
However, once again, Justin in the scoring phase of this match has just had a little bit too much for Andy, who's been steady around the ton mark, but in terms of the big scores in this contest, Justin Smith has been able to find them to a better tune than that of the hammer.
134. Justin, you have
6 on 142 to move 2-1 to the good, to move halfway towards the final.
You don't have to do anything fancy here.
102.
But that's so clever. Going 25 dart 2 there, that is elite thinking. There are players from Wales who shall remain nameless that would not do that. Wouldn't even think of it. That puts him in the top 1% of darting thinkers doing that.
For 2-1.
Game shot the third.
There it is. Justin Smith is halfway towards the final. Still waiting for the real spark to ignite in this game. And that's despite the numbers being really good. Justin Smith averaging 91.94. 2 out of 3 on the finishing. Hamilton 84.12. 1 out of 4 when it comes to the doubling.
100.
You get the sense that Andy's going to have to find some more 2 treble visits to keep pace with Justin.
140.
I have to agree. Justin starts with a 2 treble visit. And if Hamilton continues with 1 treble stuff, he may just be susceptible, but he got the memo. Having said that, he may have to go up another notch.
Anything you can do, I can do better. And suddenly, Justin Smith is threatening the break of throw to move 3-1 up and then within a leg of the final.
He's on a very, very, very good footing tonight. He's getting close to averaging 100 for the night. And considering how good he was in his first match on Thursday night, we thought, hang on, Justin might be here with fuel in the tank.
We spoke about the flair of Justin Smith, and we said maybe tonight if he wins, he's going to have to go on bursts. He's going on a burst right here, right now, and it could be enough to send Hamilton into submission.
126. Justin Iroquois, 91.
This is a monstrous shot. 16. Gets it this time. Covered bull. He's got to bend it around the post like Gareth Bale.
60.
Not quite.
And
to Hamilton's credit, he put the pressure on with that magnificent 1-2-6 approach.
Second opportunities don't come around too often. Justin Smith is hoping that there was one, but there won't be. Hamilton with 14 darter to square this contest up at 2-2. It's a best of 3 to see who joins Tom Sykes in the final. Smith crucially with the advantage of throw. How key that could be in proceedings when you consider each of the first 4 have gone with the darts.
59.
Just think about the thought swings there of Smith. He leaves himself handily placed. He's praying that Hamilton misses.
60.
What goes round your mind in those 10, 15-second windows, you've got to manage it. It can get the better of you.
60.
And when he equalises at 2-2, you get that little sinking feeling of, oh, this is going to be hard now. But when is it ever easy?
Suddenly, from the spurt to suspense, from a last leg scoring spree
96.
to a tetchy start to leg 5, where after 12 darts between the pair, we've only seen 1 big treble. But suddenly they come like London buses for Justin Smith. How big a max could that be? It's his third of the contest. It's a max that stretches him clear in leg 5.
Well, let's put it this way. We're into leg 5 in this semi-final. The only semi-finalist not to get 3 maximums in their semi-final match is Andy Hamilton. He's got none.
77.
Everybody else has got a minimum of 3.
6 darts from here.
145.
He's left himself on 57 after 12 to move himself a leg away from the victory post. Hamilton's going to have to do what he did in the last leg, and that's apply pressure.
22 maximums tonight. This is game number 8. we're approaching an average of 3 180s a
98.
match.
Justin, you've required 57.
That doesn't happen every day, never mind Saturdays. But this is tops for the lead.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
It
Justin
is
Smith.
an exchange. The 14 darts of Andy Hamilton cancelled out by a 14 darter of
Sinclair
Justin
gets Andy
Smith.
to throw
And now
first.
the Bearded Dragon is a leg
Game
away.
on.
Hamilton throwing to stay in it. Throwing to take us all the way.
And look what he's averaging, Justin Smith. Bang on 99.
83.
That's what he's doing all night.
This is world class from the Welshman.
99.
And also, he's the type of player that will go for the gears. A man who's averaging 99 has just scored 99 at the beginning of a leg. He's playing to type Nico.
Whoa!
Everybody's got a maximum now in the semis. And if Andy can find another 2 to draw level with everybody else, perish the thought.
60.
Here's the opening for Hamilton to take us all the way. Here is the opening.
That'll do. That'll do very nicely. If you were to offer him 98 right now, he'd take it.
60.
To leave tops
And he require 138.
for a 5-visit leg, he would have your arm off. Just got to be tidy. Or you could just take it now. Here we go. One leg shootout to see who plays Sykes in the final. And that was a 12-dart leg with a 138 at the end. Where have we seen that before? Oh, yeah. 41 years ago.
Game on.
This is not 1983. This is June 2024. And it's 5:01, one leg to see who gets to the final. My word. A 4th 180 from Justin Smith.
And already Hamilton's on the back foot. He needs to find another.
96.
If Andy Hamilton does not win this match, it's not for the lack of trying.
However, a dry turn has just opened up the door again. It's just given us another plot twist.
There's only one thing missing from tonight so far. And don't say the final. That's too obvious. The one thing that's missing is somebody missing match darts and losing.
81.
Now, I'm not trying to overly dramatize this situation, but I guarantee you Justin Smith just wants to get this done without any drama at all.
And with dart 3, he has gone wide, which means that he's going to have to spend another turn setting up. Well, if Hamilton hits a max, he's going to be first to a finish here.
Oh!
120.
Yeah, it wasn't touching the 1. So there's only 20 between them. But how good is the setup?
96.
Oh, it's very good now.
And in this situation, every point could count.
We know how much Justin likes double 18. What he would give for 2 darts at that right now.
59.
Well, it's
Justin
trebleless,
McGuire,
or should I say big trebleless, but this is match point. Bullseye.
62.
He's already had a 138. If he finds this,
44.
they may hear him in Southampton.
Andy Hamilton has lost a semi-final to Justin Smith 4-3. He may suffer that same fate again because the Bearded Dragon is going to come back.
Justin,
He should have 2 darts in his hand to get the job done here and now. Double 8 the target of choice.
9.
But he's missed 3 match darts.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't shout out when the players are throwing. And he require 52.
Big chance now to make it an all-English final.
Justin Smith has missed 3 opportunities. Andy Hamilton's missed 2. He thought he won it. He thought it was all over. But it could be now, and it could be Justin Smith that's the victor.
Requires 16.
He's seeing the funny side of it right now, but he might not be smiling in a second as Justin Smith gets a 3rd bite.
Double 4.
Game shot and the match.
And the bearded dragon
Justin
is
Smith.
back in the big match. Just like he did in Series 2, he has beaten Andy Hamilton by 4 legs to 3 in a semi-final. The Welshman is back in the final here at the Live Lounge. Both players missing match darts. Andy Hamilton thought he'd won it, but Justin Smith is the victor. He's going to be taking on Tom Sykes for the jackpot and the first place in Series 8's Champions Week. That is how the game panned out from a statistical viewpoint. Andy Hamilton on the stage applauding the crowd as he departs. It's another semi-final loss for him, just like in Series 7. He keeps knocking at the door, but the door of opportunity has opened up for Tom Sykes and Justin Smith. It'll be they that will contest the final in 10 minutes' time.
Hang on a minute. Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum. 18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Game shot and the match. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is. Charlie Murphy.
A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Oh, Bosh.
Pie face is through.
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game for that pie face dominated throughout.
So we're all set for a Sykes-Smith Super Series showdown. It's been really dramatic. I don't know where to start, Paul. It has been incredible. Let's start by just doing it in order. This is what's happened this evening. The group games were of the highest standard, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They've been set up brilliantly. The groups were very even. I think Stevie Johnston making a Saturday night for the first time was a win for him this week. but he was thrown into a pool of sharks, and people imposed themselves very, very quickly. Chris Gillan has had a great week, but unfortunately, he, like Johnston in the other group, was the sacrificial lamb. But the semi-finals, they were extra special, and I was somewhat stabbing in the dark of that comment towards the end of the second semi, saying that, well, the only thing we haven't had is a night where someone has missed darts and then lost, and it almost happened.
Yeah, and you did say in our little chat earlier that maybe the standard would drop, but the drama would rise. That's exactly what happened.
It didn't drop that much. At the start of the first semi-final, we were getting 76 averages, but the tension seemed to clear once they got into like 3 and 4, and then we got some quality. The amount of 180s we've had over the course of the 2 semi-finals, 6 in the first one, 5 in the next, so 11 in 2 games. I think the quality came to the fore at the end.
Yeah, and we'll talk about both matches in turn. Let's start with Tom Sykes against Bradley Roose. Fair bit of swagger on that stage, wasn't there?
Yeah, a little bit of testosterone, but let's face it, you're in a week where there's 12 players and you're the final 4, and some great players are not here. You should feel confident if you're in the final 4. And when you're doing things like that, to get yourself through, your confidence is pretty high.
Yeah, and there's plenty of respect between the pair of them, wasn't there, there Sykes and Roose? They knew that they'd been involved in a good game.
Yeah, I think that's what we've seen predominantly all night. We've seen people with a great deal of respect for their opponents. It's nice to see that, because it doesn't happen all the time. We do get a bit of needle every now and again. But to see 4 players going out there gladiatorially and really doing it the best way that they can possibly do it at this point in time, and at the end saying, well played, it's not a blot on them. It's not a blot on darts either. It's credit to both players in both semi-finals, because they've played the game the way it should be played.
And in that first one, we almost saw something that we're still yet to see on a Saturday. The 9-darter was on from Tom Sykes. We can have a look at it here. This is the attempt. Paul, talk us through it.
Well, first dart, and then 2 and 3, he's almost moulded them together. But when he's done this, I was surprised he went to the 57 with dart 6. But when he found dart 7, I thought, this is it. He hasn't missed it by much. If that climbs an extra 2 millimetres, he's going to get a shot at double 12 to get the first 9-darter on a Saturday. And I genuinely thought, the feeling around the place when dart 7 went in, I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, it felt like it might happen. Justin Smith in that second semi, I mean, that had even more drama than the first. What a strange sort of ending to the match. Hamilton kind of in there, thought he'd saved his skin, but then Justin Smith getting the job done.
Some of the best matches in the history of the sport have had both people on match darts. And when Justin was way ahead, we thought that maybe Andy was finished. But that grit and determination that we do associate with him, and that tenacity, he did find a way to get match darts, but unfortunately, by the finest of margins, he missed double 16 twice, and the Bearded Dragon got 3 bites of the cherry, because he missed the bull, he missed the 25, but then he finally got across the line.
Yeah, and we had a moment, didn't we, where earlier in the week where Stephen Johnson didn't know that he'd qualified. Andy Hamilton, just before this, thought he had qualified. He cheered that before Justin Smith finally walks up and does that. What a strange feeling. And would it have relaxed Smith, or would it have added to the pressure?
I'm not really sure. I've never been in that situation myself, so you'd have to ask somebody who has been. But I think what we saw from that situation was maybe a little bit of guesswork. He uses quite dark darts as Andy Hamilton, and he probably thought, I think that's in. I don't want to almost guess if it's in, but for someone who has got very good eyesight with his glasses, I'm pretty sure that he thought that was in. And imagine how he must have felt when the referee told him that it wasn't. But credit to him. He didn't strop off the stage. He congratulated Justin Smith, and now he's going to be in the final against the red-headed warrior from Yorkshire.
Yeah, our producers haven't been cruel enough to show that for Andy Hamilton, but if you scroll back through the video later on, you can see that sort of strange moment. Let's show a bit of glory for Hamilton, though, because he does bow it in style. Took out a fabulous 1-3-8 finish in that semi-final.
What a wonderful leg it was. Look at the score. 3-2 down. I know that Justin Smith is not on his shoulder, but to be able to do this, it proves one thing. He's still got class and energy when he needs it the most. He found his way to a match-winning shot, courtesy of giving himself the chance to play in the last leg. Watch out, Seniors Tour. He's going to be really good for the rest of the year. And wherever he goes, I think Andy Hamilton is going to have a good season.
Right, we're going to preview the final in just a moment, but first let's just give you a little glimpse of who is going to be playing next week here at the Super Series. Week 2 getting underway for Series 8, and we've got some big names coming. Kieran T, and of course who was at Champions Week, Jeff Smith and Jim Long coming back across the pond. Adam Mould, of course, a former weekly winner, Arne Spey and Moreno Michaels coming from the ADC Europe qualifiers. And I'm just looking at that Group B as well. Justin Hood, he's won a challenge tour today. Congratulations to him. Adam Lipscomb, he has this place rocking, doesn't he, every time he reaches finals night?
If he gets here. That is a tough week. 5 previous weekly winners here in Portsmouth will take part. Kieran Tian will headline, whether people like it or not, because he's won 2. And he was the very first winner here. So Kieran Tian spends a lot of time in Portsmouth, and he will be very confident of making Champions Week for a 3rd time. But Jeff Smith, considering the standard he's playing, he's in the air right now, coming over to England to get ready for Monday. He'll take some stopping. But Jim Long, remember the last time he played in a Group A situation? He won Group A the last time. There's lots to talk about.
Yeah, a couple of good old pros in Peter Hudson and Nick Fulwell in that lineup as well. Right, to the final tonight. Justin Smith has won the Bull. Is that going to be a deciding factor against Tom Sykes here?
I think it could be. I've said Tom Sykes all night, but the only person to stop Justin Smith this week has been Andy Hamilton, and he couldn't get the job done in the semi, so I might have to change my mind.
Yeah, it's going to be fast and furious, isn't it? I think this is a final fitting of tonight.
Yes, and in the first semi-final with Sykes, did you notice that I don't think, and this is a personal opinion, I don't think he was 100% comfortable with the pace of the game. Roose tried to take the sting out of the game, and it almost worked. However, if Sykes can win when he's not comfortable, what can he do when he is comfortable? And he will be comfortable with the pace here against the darts.
Right, let's find out. The final is about to get underway. Smith against Sykes, a Super Series showdown. The final is next up.
What a finish! What a player Tom Sykes is!
Double 4. And the bearded dragon is back in the big match.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is time to meet the finalists. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage, here's a former Modus Super Series weekly winner. It's the bearded dragon, Justin Smith! And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome his opponent? He's a former Modus Super Series Champions Week finalist. It's Tom Sykes!
Yeah, everybody is excited for this final. It is 2 speedy slingers and 2 players that have just got that little bit of swag about them as well, haven't they? There'll be attitude on the oche and there'll be excellence on the oche as well. We've seen it all week and indeed all night tonight. We've seen quality and drama, the perfect ingredients for a really thrilling finals night here at the Modus Super Series. So will we get the match that merits it and just puts the icing on the cake? Here we go then. Sykes against Smith, guiding you through the big money match. The first player at the Series 8 Champions Week will be determined from this game. I'll hand you then to Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Thank you, Chris. The crowd bring the noise for 2 players who have bought the goods this week. Tom Sykes and Justin Smith numerically have been the best two players over the last 6 days. And so perhaps it's fitting that it's them two that will be competing for the first spot at Champions Week at the end of August. They have both played some superb games. They both had to ride their luck in the semi-finals at times as well. If we saved the best till last, Paul Nicholson, this is going to be a treat.
Get comfortable, everybody. This could be very good. Let's have a little roundup of what they've done tonight then. 6 180s each.
100.
That's 2 per match on average. That's elite when you come to Portsmouth. Both have hit 12 doubles, but Sykes has needed 39 darts, whereas the Bearded Dragons only needed 27. He's got the superior average as well, 95.83 to Sykes 92.95. And the key thing is he has the throw in the numbered legs, which are odd. That's 1, 3, 5, and 7 if he needs it.
100.
It's the only game in a Super Series week that requires a bull off before the start. Usually when we speak about players and numbers, we say, well, how could
140.
the dynamic of a player being in a final, not being in a final, play a part? But these two know what it's like to win a week here.
140.
And I think this is the fitting final for this week as well.
This is what we're going to get in this series.
100. Tom, you require 101.
Sign me up. And if you're not subscribed to the Modus Super Series YouTube channel, change that. Double 16. What a start for Tom Sykes. The immediate break. Every single player who was qualified for Saturday night is still here.
Game on.
They've not left in a strop. They want to see who wins.
81.
And the first blood goes to the man from Castleford.
And a breaker throw to boot. He needed to find one at some point. Now it's just 3 holds to victory. Easier said than done.
140.
So funny that Bradley Roose has got a front row seat. Loses in the semi-final and joins Revelino and Chris Gillan. They're like penguins on the South Pole, keeping warm. But the heat is on the stage.
Well, Tom Sykes in the space of 2.5 minutes could be halfway towards the finishing line, but Justin Smith has just awoken in this final.
There are no shackles in this game. This is no darts barred. Brilliant. But the way tonight's gone, this is going.
He has taken it out this week, but he's not going to find it again. And so Tom Sykes is going to leave himself on tops after 12 to move 2-0 to the good in this final.
Tommy require 40.
To move himself halfway there. Ward on by his support.
35.
But you mentioned the misses he's had on doubles. He was 4 from 21 in his semi-final, but got over the line. Is Justin Smith going to be able to punish him more than Bradley Roose did?
Double 16.
29.
He made the wire move.
Tommy required 5.
But in the wrong direction. 2-0 Sykes on double 2. And that could be the number that is the most important to him tonight. Because it could be 2 titles that he's got here. And he could be en route to his second Champions Week if he can replicate what he's done already in this final.
One player's settled down better than the other.
59.
And that is why Tom Sykes is too clear. And that is why Justin Smith in the background is just trying to compose himself. Just stem a little bit of the tide out of the contest, because Tom Sykes is in one of those modes right now. But Smith regathers, recomposes, fires in his second max of the match.
For however long we are in Portsmouth doing this, I will never let anybody forget week 1 of Series 8. And the finals night, that has been one of the best we've ever had. It's arguably
60.
the best overall Saturday night we have had.
136.
But this is the breathing space that Justin wanted, courtesy of that maximum earlier in the leg.
Praying for a ton. Moves downstairs because of the precarious nature of dart number 2. He's left himself tops after 12 to get his first leg in this contest, and he is going to get time at it as well.
You require 40.
Just to settle the nerves somewhat, just to ease him into this contest. And for 14 darter.
Game's on the third leg.
Back to
Justin
2-1, just telling Tom Sykes he is very much in this final.
Fourth leg, it's Tom to throw first. Game on.
This is the big leg, you feel. This is the one where Sykes has the darts to move 3-1 up. Smith breaks back.
60.
Level we are at 2 apiece. And it'd be the bearded dragon that would have the ascendancy because he has the darts in the odd-numbered legs. And he has taken the Sykes darts after the first round of visits.
What Tom was thinking at the end of the last
59.
leg was, you can have your holds of throw, Justin, as long as I get mine. That's a great ton. Getting the 60 with the last dart gives you a brilliant ton.
100.
And things are starting to settle into that range now. Hopefully with a little smattering of the brilliant along the way. What a dart that is.
140.
And if I may say so, that is a 140 from the gods.
The response from Justin Smith over the last couple of legs has been incredible.
There are people in the crowd who can't stop smiling.
137.
Smith has put himself in position. But hold on to your hats. He needed another 51 to add to the first one to break Justin's heart. But now we could be going to leg 5 square.
And that's a beautiful guide. Can he use it? Yes, is the answer. And from 2-0 down, Justin Smith has squared this tie up at 2 apiece, doing so in the space of 29 darts. And it is a best of 3 now to see who the first player through to Champions Week is going to be. It is Smith with the advantage of throw. That break that Tom Sykes found in leg 1 has now been distinguished.
55.
But he has let the Yorkshireman have an opening there after his dry first turn, Justin Smith.
60.
That week in the previous series when Jimmy Van Schie won, with the 9-dart shootout in there, that is largely
59.
talked about as the best Saturday night we've had. This is up there with that. And we still don't know who the victor is.
41.
But guess who lost in the final that night? He's on the stage and he's wearing blue.
And that 41 has opened up the door for Justin Smith to move himself in front in this leg on throw. Suddenly, all the cards are moving in one man's direction, and that man is Justin Smith.
Earlier in the contest, I said if Sykes can replicate what he did in the first 2 legs, he would win this final. He may have to replicate it with the last 2 legs of the final.
The power scoring over the last couple of legs for Justin Smith has been superb.
Justin, you require 107.
6 darts and 107 to move himself a leg away. He may only need the 3. He does only need the 3. And from 2-0 down, Justin Smith has reeled off 3 on the spin and is now a leg away.
6 leg, it's Tom to throw first.
Don't tell me that dragons can't be composed. Because lesser animals may just have wilted under the pressure of a 2-0 scoreline against you. But this man, this week, he hasn't been fiery.
100.
He's been volcanic.
We've learnt so much about Tom Sykes over the last year or so. We are now going to learn what his powers of recovery are like, because this has been another one of Justin Smith's spurts. What has Tom Sykes got left in the locker?
When you're under pressure at this level, averaging 100 in the first couple of turns is good. How about 100 after 3? He's forcing Smith to keep pace with 2 big trebles. I hate to say the obvious, as we do get 2 trebles from Smith. It does feel as if this final and this night deserves a last leg shootout, but we might not get it.
57.
Is that a slip?
I don't think it is. Based on this evening,
85.
you maybe could categorise it as a slip. Is Sykes going to take us all the way?
96.
Considering how good Justin Smith has been
116.
on the finishing and the averages tonight, he might just win it here. Double 18.
98. Tom, you require 48.
Double 16.
32.
The writing may be on the wall, as Justin Smith again has the quandary of 18. This week he's hit it
18.
via splitting. Tonight he has busted. Wow. He didn't expect the double 2. I don't think anybody did. He didn't hesitate in going for double 7.
14. Tom, you require
So he has now
16.
had 2 match darts. 2 winning darts for the week. We go all the way.
Tom Sykes.
Has Tom Sykes just played his get out of jail free card?
7th and final leg. It's Justin to throw first. Game on.
103 games and 6 legs have been completed. 501 points
47.
for these 2 guys who have been brilliant all week to see who goes to Champions Week at the end of August.
The fitting crescendo to a superb night, and that is the perfect start for Tom Sykes in this deciding leg.
Seriously, what a time to get your first 180 of the final.
57.
And is Smith smarting from the missed shots at double 18 and double 7?
97.
He has hit a double en route to getting a 4-2 scoreline, but it was the wrong one.
60.
And he may have nothing left. The fire might be out.
From the debts, Tom Sykes has found a power play here. He has found his second max of this deciding leg to leave himself on 44 after 9, and is now potentially a couple of darts away.
100. Tom, you require 44.
Double 16, this time to win.
28.
They've both missed darts to win the week. Can Smith get to a finish? To ask the question.
85.
He's done just that, but is it enough? Is it enough pressure to put Sykes off? It isn't!
And the Week 1 Modus Super Series champion, Tom Sykes!
The song sheet for Sykes reads Super Series winner again. What a final, what a night. One of the best nights we've ever had in Portsmouth, and it's only the start of series number 8. That man, who has been living and breathing the Super Series for the last 12 months, has found his way to the Super Series Champions Week again, where he has unfinished business. He had to get a little bit fortunate in the final because the Welshman did miss 2 winning darts at double 18 and at double 7. It's arguably, statistically, the worst game of the night. But it may be the most gripping because we're all going to need to calm down a little bit. We are going very, very close to what could be the ultimate night here in Portsmouth. What a Saturday night. It's been a very quick night. However, it's time to hear from the winner. Eventually, it is Tom Sykes. Justin Smith loses 4-3, but the week 1 winner is Tom Sykes, and he's with Henry Deegan.
Paul, thank you very much. Tom Sykes, winner of week 1. One of the most dramatic nights we've ever seen here at the Live Lounge. Can you just put into words what on earth has happened over the last 20 minutes or so?
I have no idea. I ain't got any words. I have no idea. Honest to God, I have no idea. I've been playing well. I've played well all night. I've averaged above 90 in every game, and I got let off a bit there with him hitting double 2 and then missing double 7, but they're the chances you've got to take, so I've got there in the end.
Heart in mouth moment when he goes for the 18 for the match?
Absolutely. I've never been so scared in my whole entire life.
You expecting him to get it?
Yeah. I didn't expect him to split it, to be fair, but he missed and I hit, so.
Then the last leg, 2 maximums in there. It felt like tonight, when it got to the crunch moments, the key moments, you just entered a different mode, almost beast mode to a certain extent.
I don't know how I do it, I honestly don't, because I keep doing it all the time and I've no idea how I actually do it, but when they go in, so. And that's how it is.
That's exactly how it is. Right, you're now a 2-time weekly winner here at the Super Series. That puts you on a different pedestal to a lot of players. Every single time you made a Saturday night, you've at least made the final. You've now made it 2-2 in that particular category. Let's just talk about the last 12 months, because you made your debut here in September. You narrowly missed out. You won a belt. Could you imagine at that point that you'd be standing on this stage with the record that you've got now?
No chance. When I won the first one, I came through Group C, and then I've been in Group A ever since. And like you say, I've lost out in 2 finals, and I was absolutely gutted after the last one. And I've come back to this week, and I've made it again, and I've done it.
You've done it. You're back into Champions Street, a place you know all too well. You know where I'm going to go. Into, obviously, you lost the final last time there. Have you got unfinished business with that?
Yeah, I've got unfinished business all the time, but I've won another one of these now, and hopefully I can go a step further in Champions Week next time.
I just want to talk about the family, because you brought a few down. Dad, I know, is always star of the show, but you brought your manager down, you brought your partner down. There he is. He's the star of the show, isn't he? But how important is the family dynamic for you? Because it very much feels like it's Team Sykes. There's a big team behind you that support you all the way.
Yeah, it's massive. Like I said to you in the interview earlier, they follow me everywhere I go, and it's massive for me.
Do you remember what I said to you in that interview earlier on tonight?
I have no idea. I can't even remember what I've just done there, so I have no idea what you said to me in that interview earlier.
Well, let me remind you what I said earlier on this evening. I said, what would it feel like to lift that trophy with all of your family there? Well, now you're going to get exactly the opportunity to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, the first player through to Champions League in Series 8 is Tom Sykes.
Well, what a moment, Paul, for Tom Sykes. Yeah, as Henry said, they're getting to share that with his family. He does have a good team around him, but he's certainly shown a lot about a winning mentality tonight.
Yeah, just a bit, almost the perfect week for him. Winning Group A, winning Group 1 on a Saturday night, winning the final, of course. Great standard from him all night. He did need a little bit of fortune in the final, with the Bearded Dragon missing a couple of match starts to win it by 4-2, but I think every single player this week can be very, very proud of their efforts.
And most of them are still here, Paul. All of them are sort of watching front row seat. They were all gripped even once they were out of the night tonight.
I think it goes to show what the practice room has been like this week, because if some of these people weren't getting along and they didn't click, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be congratulating Tom on this win. And I'm sure when he goes backstage, there will be an embrace between the bearded dragon, Justin Smith, and the man from Yorkshire, because there's a great deal of respect between all of the players this week. But the favoured player at the end has prevailed.
Let's talk about the runner-up for a moment, because you could just see, and I'm sure you've been in that position yourself, you could just see him believing that the game was getting away from him.
In the last leg, yes. I think he's going to curse the number 18, because twice tonight it has cost him. He bust 18 earlier, hitting a 17. He put himself in peril by hitting double 2 to leave double 7. He didn't think in his wildest dreams he was going to have to go for double 7 on that exchange. I hope he doesn't think later on tonight that I should have gone for double 9, because he had a plan. It's what he sticks to. It just didn't pay off this time. But one thing we've learned about Justin Smith this week is that if he's given the opportunity, he has got an incredible game in the locker.
Back to Tom Sykes, he did just say there to Henry that he did feel he had a bit of unfinished business with that Champions Week final loss. He's got back to Champions Week now, the first player to do that. Already, he's someone who everyone else who qualifies will be thinking, I've got a player to beat there.
Yes, I think they will come to that if and when they win weeks. But I think what's really important for Tom now is to plan ahead. Make sure that your next 2.5 months has got the right kind of schedule. Don't take the summer off. Don't think that you can just hit that double 8, take 2 months off and start prepping about 4 weeks out. It doesn't work that way. Over the next 3 months, what he's got to do is constantly challenge himself. He will, because he's a hard worker. He's worked hard the last couple of days getting ready for tonight, and it's worked. So whatever's working, keep it going and be ready come the end of August.
What can you say about the atmosphere of the audience this evening? We are an intimate venue here at the Super Series, but he brought his friends and family with him. Even if you bring 6-7 people, look, in here it's so close and personal that you can hear anything. But that's a good percentage of the crowd, isn't it? And that can be a help.
I don't know what it is about the nights that Sykes is here, because the last time he was here, Jimmy Van Schie won, and that is a night that we all remember. Those two, I think, have hit it off this week. But isn't it nice that there are so many stories from the first week of a series? And I think what tonight has proven is if you come down for a measly couple of quid, well, there's the Burger Boy with the burger mascot as well. Isn't that a nice picture? But this is a great place to play, a great place to watch. And the atmosphere tonight has been sublime. It's exactly what we hoped for when we first came to Portsmouth. And I think we're starting to get it week on week.
And what we're just talking about and what we've just seen is exactly what we're saying. There's no other sporting tournament, no other darting tournament, definitely, where a player can just win the tournament and then immediately be mingling with the fans, the people in the arena, on the stage where it's just happened. It's such a unique experience to come here.
We talked about it for years. You've been around darts long enough. These guys have been around darts for something like 2 years to 25. They will all say the same. The connection of the players to the audience is as close in this sport as it is in any sport. You can't cross the ropes when you go to a golf tournament to hug Tiger Woods. But here at the Super Series, you can get a picture with Andy Hamilton. That's what this is all about. This is closeness, and this is a working class sport as well. We do have a few superstars who walk through the door here, but they know their place, and the fans are important.
Yeah, seriously, if you haven't been yet, do come down one night. Dartshop.tv is a place to go and get your tickets. It's only a £2 booking fee, and you can experience what you've seen this evening. Many are travelling from far and wide now to get here, as has Tom Sykes and his friends and family tonight. Closing thoughts on him. When he got through to the Champions Week final last time around, he's one of the players that we were starting to say could be one that we can kind of say we found at the Super Series and goes on to do incredible things. There've been 1 or 2 recently. Do you think that he's got a really good professional career ahead of him?
I don't think we kind of found him. I think we found him. I think because of the relationship that the Modus Super Series has with the amateur dart circuit, we can both hold our hands up and say, we have unearthed this talent. And without a shadow of a doubt, because let's face it, after tonight and after what he's done in the last 6 to 12 months, there's going to be a lot of YouTubers out there and a lot of people in the press and maybe in other organisations saying, who's Tom Sykes? He's pretty good now, isn't he? He's been good for a while. We know it. And as far as his future is concerned, he can be as good as he wants to be.
Certainly has. It's been a great night, Paul. Thanks for being part of it. Thank you for being part of it as well, as Sykes succeeds once again at the Super Series. But that is only week 1, 9:30 on Monday morning. You can tune back in to the YouTube channel when week 2 will get underway. We'll see you then. Game shot on a fifth leg, Adam Lipscomb.
That's an extraordinary finish when you consider how bad the first start was.
After the day that Bradley Roose has had, Kieran Tian issues him a big haymaker blow. You can see the disappointment all over.
Game shot and the match. Kim Long.
Does he? He has. Is he lured in by temptation again? He is, and this time
to the top one. Leg 1, 1-1. 4-1-5-7. Superb finishing.
That's an incredible 12 from Peter Hudson.
He will be focusing on the rivalry now rather than the friendship, as is Fulwell, who levels up with a very fine finish. Oh, what a dart, what a way to win it.